Good morning, it's 8:39. This is KHEA Radio. It is Tuesday, so that means Dr. Chapa is in studio. He's here. I'm excited. If you have health questions, feel free to ask them now in the comment section. Let us know, are you dealing with something in your body that you weren't born with?
I did put in the description that Dr. Chapa is eating a taco today, so let's see how many people tune in to watch him eat a taco.
That's false advertising.
It might happen. It may not happen.
I should have brought my tacos.
What kind of tacos do you have?
Like they would be rotisserie tacos on, because we had them yesterday and they were really good.
Ooh,
on a
Chapa
lettuce romaine leaf, some chimichurri sauce, and red sauce, and pico de gallo and guacamole. You can't go wrong.
That does sound good. Again, let us know, what do you have going on today? Are you dealing with anything in your body that maybe it can be healed through food, through exercise, through little changes in your lifestyle, maybe big changes in your lifestyle to kind of get your body going, get things started. Summer's almost here. You know, we need to feel good so you can go outside, play with the kids, and have a lot of fun.
I'm super excited about today. If you have your health questions, please go ahead and put them in the description here on our Facebook Live. You can also send us a text message at 346-704-1806. We are an FM radio station, and sometimes people driving in their car can't really drop a comment in the Facebook page. So when we go live over the FM here, we want to make sure that we give our FM audience an opportunity to listen to us as well.
Are you dealing with anything in your body right now? How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic right now. I have had a fantastic morning. It's been great. I do elderberry juice every single morning. I do not have any allergies. I haven't been sneezing as bad. It's been great.
So this is what peak performance looks like. You may not like it, but this is what the ideal human body operating at.
I feel like people don't understand what 2019 Curt is about.
What is 2019 Curt about?
2019 Curt is about pristine condition. Pristine.
Okay, pristine. That's a good word, I guess, to go by, and a good goal to have.
That's the word of the day. Mm-hmm. Pristine.
Dr. Chapa, how are you doing this morning?
Oh, I'm fine as frog hair, man. You ever seen hair in a frog?
I've never seen hair in a frog.
That's because it's so fine. So fine. That's how good I'm doing. And I'm glad to be on the radio with you guys today. And looking forward to hearing what people have to say and how people are starting their day this morning. Hopefully, everybody's starting their day with water, with good, healthy breakfast. It may be I'm about to knock down a main squeeze juice called Immunity, which is apple, beet, and zucchini, and a wheatgrass shot. So I'm excited.
So here's a comment. This is from Johnny Blade. He said, "I'm out of shape. I learned that at the last wrestling show. I may come seek help seriously. Come on in." Johnny, Dr. Chapa has worked with athletes, world's strongest men competitors.
That's right.
All the way to moms. It's everybody, children to the elderly.
I mean, and it doesn't matter where you're at in your health journey. It's just a matter about getting started and getting back on track. I saw a picture of a bodybuilder that looked fantastic, amazing. It was in front of a big show, and then he had two pictures off to the side where he was overweight and not looking his best. And he said, what I really appreciate about his comments is, one, his honesty to be able to post a picture of a before and after the wrong way. But he said it's proof that you can't out-exercise a bad diet. Mm-hmm. And he said those words, and it is. 80% of the game is all in what you put in your body. And what you eat's important, but what you
don't eat is more important.
That is absolutely right, Gardy. You couldn't have said it better. And I'm just, always working at helping people realize that you're in control of your health. You're in control of your vitality. You're in more control than you'll ever give yourself credit or appreciate even. But if you're suffering with, any ailment, if your child's got allergies, if you got allergies, because this is the pollen count kicked back up yesterday. We're back in the high zone of pollen drop. I guess whatever blew in Saturday night or Friday night or whenever that was has definitely, brought in some more of the spring fever. And whatever your body is displaying as a symptom pattern, that's an opportunity for you to make some lifestyle changes and modifications and recognize that it's nothing more than a check engine light on your dashboard and something that you can fix.
Lifestyle changes sometimes aren't the most fun thing in the world. Nobody likes change, right?
Nobody likes change.
That's
I'm
why
pretty convinced.
They have the saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
That's right.
But is that true?
Well, I've found that most of your eating patterns are set in stone by the time you're 9 years old. And Rand Corporation, Pepsi-Cola, Coca-Cola have all done research, marketing, advertising research to find out how can we get people addicted to our product for a lifetime. And they said that if we can get Cokes in schools, if we can get the processed junk foods in the kids' hands when they're at school or away from parental guidance, because every kid I know that gets a little food ticket or money in their pocket from mom and dad, they're not buying the good stuff. They're buying cookies and they're buying chocolate milk. They're buying the Cokes out of the vending machines or something out of a vending machine. And then a lot of adults are the same way. I mean, we live in a very convenient lifestyle. Most of the people aren't even eating breakfast. They're not even drinking enough water. They've forgotten the power of water. And so when people come in to see me that are over 9 years old, and I say something like that, does that mean that's it for me? And I said, no. All it means is we just have to reacclimate your body to forming new habits. And yeah, the reason your brain or your body you don't like change and you don't like new habits is because your brain doesn't like it. It requires a great deal of energy, and your brain is all about conserving energy and making mental map protocols to run a pathway that requires very little in the form of glucose modulation, fat breakdown, because it wants just to run a simple pathway to preserve energy. And so to formulate a new habit and a new neural pathway, it requires 17, 21 exposures of change. Some people believe it to be more. And so forming a habit is tough, but here's what we have to realize. When we're youthful and we can eat whatever we want to eat, we can live how we seemingly want to live and not have any symptoms, and then we get into our 30s, we get into our 40s and 50s, and we start experiencing symptom patterns we weren't genetically born with. Now we start seeing why people are getting depressed and having midlife crises, because they're like, oh, I used to be able to do that. I used to, coulda, and they don't realize that they're not 18 anymore, and that their body has just every 10 years has changed. Their body is changing. So if and I'm telling you that your body is changing every 10 years, then be willing to make the lifestyle modifications to change with it so that you embrace the change, so to speak, and start making lifestyle course correction so that you don't have to suffer with ailment patterns, symptom patterns that you weren't genetically born with. And that's wellness. That's longevity. That's taking the bull by the horns and taking responsibility to live your best life each and every day.
So we got 10 seconds, and we're about to go on the FM as well. And I have some questions about that topic as well. So here we go. Good morning. You're listening to KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. I'm Gardy.
And I'm Curt.
It's 8:47 a.m. Tuesday morning. We have Dr. Aaron Chapa in studio. We're going to be learning about living well and living well clinical nutrition. So before we went on the FM, Dr. Chapa was talking a little bit about your body changing. Sometimes you can't do things anymore like that you could do 10 years ago. So,
we call
10
it
years
the
ago,
case of the suddenlies.
Suddenly I can't do anything.
That's
but
right.
Why is that? Why is it that, a 30-year-old can't eat the same way as a 20-year-old, and a 20-year-old can't eat the same way as a 10-year-old? Why?
Yeah, children have more growth hormone. They have more stem cells. They have, biomechanical or biochemically more developmental pathways and processes that their bodies can allow them grace in the formative years. The problem is if we breed those kids on junk food, processed food, and we don't put in good quality nutrition into the children, they never maximize their potential. And in those formative years, it can take a toll on them in their 30s, in their 40s, in their 50s. When they might have started having symptom patterns in their 50s, they might start getting them in their 30s.
So I'm 33. So as a 33-year-old, is there anything I can naturally do to make, not necessarily turn back the clock, but, at least get some of those years back?
No question.
And then here's my next question. Is there a way I can unnaturally do that as well?
Unnaturally do that. So let's try to play with that. Can you unnaturally reverse the aging process? Yeah, they call that plastic surgery. But the problem is that it all still takes, when you do the unnatural things, it robs you of the longevity and the vitality
But I'm not talking about like the outside. I'm talking about like the inside. You know, whenever I was 23, you know, like my knees were better. You know, just like little things like that. Not necessarily like the outside looks, but is there any way? Because I know I'm thinking of like, you know, professional athletes. How you get busted for taking steroids, and they find something new on the market. Is it legal? Is it not? Are those things? Is that what they're kind of doing,
So
like reversing the clock?
In a lot of those companies that promote what so and so was busted, and then there's this miracle system that can reverse the aging clock. They're herbs. A lot of times they're naturally occurring herbs, so they're not unnatural. Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, if you're injecting steroids into your body, or you're living on steroid shots, I mean, I think the most common thing going on right now is they're actually doing stem cell injections into knees to kind of regenerate those tissues. And but I mean, why not start with what you can control? Because why depend on that? Because I've had, I don't have a big pool of people that do the stem cell injections for reversing the aging clock, so to speak. But the ones that have, it's like 50-50. I'm not 100% convinced yet that, that it is, worth the investment, because it's, relatively costly. But I do know that starting your day right, drinking plenty of water to flush out the joint tissue, to flush out the fat cells, to help clean up the brain neural pathways, you will find that just adding water to your day will make you healthier, more strong, more vibrant. And being, 32 ounces per 50 pounds of body weight is the game that you're pushing for, liquid-wise. Doing simple joint mobility protocols that we talked about last week, where you're hydrating the joints through motion, and doing knee exercises, non-weight bearing, in a relatively stable, safe environment where we're not kicking it with the weights, but and then bringing in nutrition. So like you could bring in turmeric, you could bring in wheatgrass. You could bring in vegetable smoothies. You could bring in, just a multivitamin and a fish oil, a multi-mineral. So like I use this product in my office called Core Level Health Reserve, and another one called MitoCore, that have blood sugar stabilizing properties to it. They have anti-inflammatory properties to it, as well as, a multivitamin. Then I bring in a multi-mineral because people are running around with what we call acidic agents. And that could be anything that is inherited, anything that is, a toxin to our body, or something that is a toxin is basically anything your body cannot use that will accelerate that aging process. Mm-hmm. Metals and chemicals that we have built up from skincare or body care products, or physically things that we put into our mouth via drink and or food, the processed nature of food. Because most people don't, only eat things that walk, or crawled or swam or fly. They eat things with a label and things with a package. And when we eat a lot of those packaged processed food, it's like, eat make-believe food. And the best thing you'll ever have if you eat make-believe food is what?
Make-believe health.
Make-believe health. Mm-hmm. And it's really that simple. And so then we can come in with like something with like cod liver oil. And I can't tell you how much cod liver oil I use in my office on all patients, because, and this is important for all the moms that are listening, that you want to start changing the dynamic of your kids' longevity, like when they get into their 30s. Invest in their fat reserves now. Like give them good healthy fats from fish, or at least we have DHA Junior, we have cod liver oil, we have all these different products to use to help drive healthy hormone production whenever a young female teen goes into puberty, or a young male goes into puberty. We have EPA products that can help come in and stimulate the fat potential of the brain to make it fire more effectively and make the brain more sharp, crisp as that child is developing neurologically. Why not give that brain extra gusto? We use homeopathics for those that can't swallow, like Brainstorm, and it's a product that has all the factors that help elevate, like ginkgo biloba in a homeopathic form, and to stimulate brain function. So those synapses are real clean. It's like having a good set of healthy injectors in your car. You want that car to run smooth all the days of its life, and you got to change the spark plugs. You got to change the oil. You got to change the fluids. And so we use these different tools in our youth, in hopes that we don't have the case of the suddenlies in our late 20s or 30s. because I'm noticing what used to be 35 to 55 was kind of like the demographic that would complain about symptom patterns, whether it was joint pain, belly pain, skin rashes, headaches, hormonal issues. Now I'm starting to see it shift down to the 20s, and some, I mean, Thames, even younger than that, but definitely easily could say 22, 23 people are starting to feel this aging shift, and it's because they were manufactured on processed food, make-believe food.
So you're listening to KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. We have 5 minutes till the top of the hour. If you're watching on Facebook, I'm going to ask a huge favor. I see that a couple of you have already done this. One, share this video because you're going to be able to help so many different people that you are acquaintances, maybe friends and family with. They need to hear what we're talking about today. We're talking about health without, doing prescription medicine, without getting surgeries. If there's a better way, don't you owe it to yourself and your friends and family to at least explore that option? We're talking about natural living and living well clinical nutrition today. So there's a natural way, and we're going to be learning about that with Dr. Aaron Chapa. If you have some questions, feel free to ask. I see one has already been asked. This is from Tammy, and she wants to know, do you recommend drinking baking soda in water? I like baking soda in toothpaste. I don't know if that makes a difference or like that, but like the baking soda, the Arm & Hammer, I just like the way it tastes.
So you got two different situations there. Number one, the baking soda that you're putting on your teeth is to help, brighten your smile and also change the pH of the teeth so that you don't have bacteria that have a tendency to colonize. And so that could be a very powerful tool for cleansing the mouth. But when we put baking soda in our bodies, in our water, and we put that in our body, we are changing our body's pH. And when most of us, I said earlier, we have a tendency to be putting in things that are acidic in nature. And these acidic foods, these acidic products, acidic drinks that we put in our body, we have an over-acidic input biochemically. That drives mechanisms in our body, buffering mechanisms that overuse, and in many cases deplete our body of mineral substrates like magnesium and calcium and iodine and zinc and manganese and all these different minerals that our body needs. And that leaves your body in a net acid excess. Too much acid drives adrenal proliferation, stress on your adrenals. Then that turns around, and if that's not addressed, that drives adrenal fatigue, that drives anxiety, depression, immune challenges, that starts this perpetuating cycle that won't end until the mineral reserves are input or reversed, and now that leaves a person in a state of what we call accelerated aging. And so what we do is we come in with a large mineral load to rebuild the mineral base so that you're not acidotic, that you're more you're in an acid reduced state, alkaline state, and that's what baking soda does. When you put that in your water, it will, in a sense, force your body into an alkaline state, but it's not going to maintain all day, unfortunately. But is it a good, is it a good habit? Yeah, of course. So like I'm shooting a shot of wheatgrass for Main Squeeze, Webster. If you haven't been to Main Squeeze, go check out Jeff and Tabitha's Main Squeeze. And this is a wellness shot. This is wheatgrass that they made just yesterday, and Main Squeeze has all kinds of fresh, non-pasteurized, cold-pressed juices, and I drink one all the time.
What's in the other one?
This one's apple and beet and zucchini.
Show the camera because it comes in a little convenient little package right there.
And look at this. I mean, it's 2 to 4 pounds of produce to make this bottle, and it's cold pressed, which means it hasn't been pasteurized, hasn't been homogenized, hasn't been boiled, and man, I'm just telling you, the flavor is out of this world. And it's these little habits that you start incorporating into your day-to-day lifestyle that start changing whether or not you're going to be acidotic, driving toward accelerated aging, driving towards a miserable, symptom pattern or symptom-laden life, versus living a more alkaline style life where you have balanced blood sugar. You're doing good mineral and vitamin supplementation. You're doing detoxes annually, at least annually, but I'd recommend 2 to 4 times a year, that where you're taking time to focus that diet. And this is what Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center does, guys, is we're encouraging people to be proactive, and we're trying to hold people accountable to making lifestyle changes and hold those into habits, into lifestyles, because to your point, Gardy, nobody likes change and nobody really wants to do some of these harder things of life. But the reality is everybody wants the good life. Everybody wants to have no headaches. Everybody wants to have no allergies. Everybody wants to have no belly pain. Everybody wants to, see their kids be the best version of themselves as they can possibly be, whether on the athletic field or in the academic world or in the productive, being a productive member of society, you know what I mean? So we all want these things, and some of us just don't know where to start. Well, Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center is all about setting up the stage so that you can catapult yourself into a better tomorrow. You know that song? It's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.
Who sings that? I don't know.
It's a Disney song.
Oh, cool.
But it's his something of progress, time of progress.
Yeah. So you have a wheatgrass shot, and it comes in a little one. And I guess I'm confused because it's not that much drink, but are you sipping on it because it tastes so good, or are you just waiting to like just chug the rest of it?
You see, I could shoot it, and it doesn't. It tastes like grass. It tastes like literally.
Who doesn't like drinking grass?
I mean, like it tastes and smells like hay, really. And I don't know. Like, I've kind of grown accustomed to these things. I have a very strong bitter palate. We've talked about this on station, back in previous podcast.
Yeah.
But we have 4 palates. We have the salt. Everybody's got that one, right? Who doesn't love,
popcorn,
and salt on your chips and, whatever salty stuff. Those are adrenal people, right? Like, their adrenal glands are tired. They're worn out. They're always reaching for salt to stimulate their body. We've got sugar people. The sugar, the sugar palate, and the sugar palate is that indication that your blood sugar is a mess. Your liver and pancreatic enzymes aren't working well, and your body is reaching for artificial rocket fuel to get through your morning.
Are you saying those cravings?
Those cravings.
Okay,
yeah.
Whenever you crave for the salt, this is what it could mean. Whenever you crave for the sugar, this is what it means. Okay,
and we also have a palate that has we taste salt and we taste sugar, we taste sour, and what we find a lot of times, sour people, these are the people that have more liver congestion and liver buildup and lymphatic congestion. These are the stagnation, and the body will use the sour palate, so to speak, to improve bile formation, and we call that cholagogues, like anything that mobilizes bile through the liver and production to be ramped up. And then we have the bitter palate. The bitter palate is the digestive person and the immune person. So we need to be, and you see dogs do this. The dogs, when they have a sick tummy, what's the first thing you note about a dog?
Let's see. Sometimes they will throw up.
Well, how do they throw up, though? They go in the backyard and eat grass.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So they go eat grass, and that does some things in their tummy, and it helps them, purge out whatever it is they got stuck inside them.
Interesting.
And that's the bitter palate being stimulated. Now, thankfully, we don't walk around having to do that.
We can
vomit.
drink it.
We can, but it doesn't make us vomit, right? And a lot of the herbs that I use in the office, like echinacea or elderberry, like Curt was talking about earlier, we use these things that chamomile marshmallow to drive the block down through the digestive tract so that the system will open up and be more free to function like it's supposed to. And so if you don't have chamomile marshmallow from our office, and and the kids that are listening like, oh, he's recommending marshmallows, I like that, doctor. This isn't marshmallows like that you are knowing. This
S'mores.
is the root. Yeah, this is definitely not s'mores.
S'mores would be good, though.
They probably would be. Whenever we look at the chamomile marshmallow, if you've got stomach aches, if you have belly pain, if you have, a nausea, if you've got, some sort of morning, not morning sickness, but nausea when you're driving down the road and you get car sick, you get boat sick if you're on a cruise or something. And chamomile marshmallow should be one of those things that you're using and leveraging to the hilt because it will literally stop nausea inside of 10 minutes. It's amazing. But it's stimulating the bitter palate, going back to that process of making the immune system bitter, and making the digestive tract more bitter, aka better. And so this is the ways that you start listening to the way your body is communicating to you. It's always giving you the message, and then that allows the fifth secret, palate to come out, which is your savory palate. And that comes out when you have all four of the base palates put together.
Is this like the Infinity Stones type thing?
How did you know that's where I was going?
It sort of seems like.
I'm just saying.
And you just get
I was going to say Voltron. We could go any direction we wanted. When we work together as a team, when our body, systems are all working together.
Captain Planet up in here.
Yeah, that's right. Captain Choppa Planet.
Hey, I saw this.
This is Choppa Planet.
It is. I saw this meme, and I was going to share it from KHEA, but I didn't. But it said, it's Thanos, and it's Texas Toast, Buc-ee's, HEB, Texas Edition vehicles, Whataburger, and Tex-Mex. And whenever you collect all of the Texas Infinity Stones, you can feel the power. So I thought it was
awesome
it was a pretty
sauce.
funny little
Totally
meme.
dig that.
I saw another one today where it said the stones have been hiding in plain sight, and it was a picture of the Friends logo.
Oh, there you go. Is it the right? It's all the colors?
Yes.
Well, there you go.
Been hiding right in front of us this whole time.
The entire time. It's
Friends.
9:05. This is KHEAradio.com, 99.5 FM. We're learning about a natural approach. I think that, is it what do you call that marshmallow one?
Chamomile
Marshmallow.
Marshmallow, right? That's what we were talking about this morning. And you can buy chamomile teas, but here's the reality: when you're sick and you're nauseated, the last thing you really want to do is put a lot of fluid on your system, right?
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes the chamomile teas, there's just too much fluid, so that makes you nauseated. The chamomile marshmallow is a strong, potent herbal that, is one of the first herbs, it actually was the first herb that I ever was really introduced to because I knew it couldn't hurt anybody. If you go look it up on, even Dr. Google agrees it can't hurt a soul. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when Dr. Google agrees, it's got to be true, right?
Wait, there's a Dr. Google?
Apparently, everybody reaches out to him all the time and asks for medical advice, but he always scares the tar out of you and makes you feel like you're, the little, whatever it is you got is cancer, even whenever it was just I fell on the ground and I scraped my elbow, and then it turned into, Dr. Google says, cancer. And, it's like Crudes when he was telling a story about never leaving the cave, and all his stories ended in, and they died. It's like always dramatically died.
So crazy that there's a search engine called Google, and then there's also a Dr. Google.
I know. It's nuts. I miss Jeeves. Does anybody remember Jeeves?
Jeeves is awesome.
Ask.com.
Totally love Jeeves.
Oh, there was...
And you had the little butler, and he'd come out, and his name was Jeeves, and you'd ask him, Jeeves, what's up? And Jeeves would. It was pretty much Google.
That was like the postmodern
Siri.
Siri and Alexa.
Good for you.
Hey, good morning, Ashley. I see that you're tuning in now. Good morning, Thomas. Everybody watching on Facebook, everybody listening in 99.5 FM, good morning to you. We appreciate you taking time, hanging out with us. It's Dr. Choppa's time to come and hang out and answer some questions, so please feel free to take advantage of this opportunity. One of the things that Sarah was mentioning, I guess she had an adjustment done to her stomach, and she said, hey, can we get Kurt's stomach adjusted again? She said, I had that done on Friday. Can we talk about what that means?
So we're a diverse, clinic. We do all kinds of things to help people get well, stay well, and be well. And Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center has always stood for finding the underlying cause of all disease. And we all, what our philosophy is that all life starts and stops at the cellular level, and nutrition is the fundamental backbone that drives you to wellness or, unfortunately, spirals you down into the pit of symptom land. Mm-hmm. And nobody wants to go there, right? But what do we do? Where do we start? And so when people come into our office, I've had patients that had, anytime there's vomiting, in your past, you need your stomach adjusted. And it's a visceral adjustment. It's very simple. It's very painless. And but I have, in extreme situations, I had a little 7-year-old kid that had belly pain for 4 or 5 months, and he basically had a hiatal hernia. And I just went up there, adjusted that stomach. We basically literally poke inside, just underneath the sternum, go up to grab as much of stomach tissue as we can, and we pull it down. I mean, and it's to make it simple, and it's pulling it from the esophageal sphincter, which is in a part of the diaphragm that comes from the upper thoracic cavity, that's your chest where your heart and lungs are, that then go into your stomach and your abdominal cavity. And that diaphragm is like a giant parachuted muscle that's really big and robust, and it's like the separation of the superior or your thoracic cavity and your lower abdominal cavity. And sometimes because of how aggressive digestion is, we don't realize or appreciate how aggressive the digestive process is, which is why they always say don't swim after you eat, right? You want to give the blood plenty of time to break down that food before you start going and using your extremities and kicking around and getting a stomach cramp because you got this big bolus of food in there, and you're now getting a stomach cramp. And I guess I've never actually heard of a person drowning from eating and then going into the pool.
Too quick.
I've never heard that, but I can see the logic, because blood flow drastically goes to the stomach and digestion, because digestion is a very aggressive process. And so you want your blood to be in the stomach to digest those, to make those organ systems work better, the liver to be communicating messages where it goes to the pancreas, and then the pancreas back your gallbladder and the small intestine, and then the absorption process through the small intestine, large intestine, and then for the waste to be set up to be removed. And so I have patients come in that have diarrhea. It could be an ileocecal valve issue. That's the valve between the small and large intestine. We can work on these different valves, and people go, "You can? You don't have to be a surgeon to do that?" No, we don't cut you open. There's no anesthetics. There's no we don't have to put you to sleep. We don't have to do anything. We can just work on the valves, and we can also, after we work on these systems, we can then remineralize those tissues and get those valves to work better. And so, I've had extreme cases. I had this guy that was really sick, and I pulled his stomach down because he had lots of vomiting, and he practically turned green and went and had sweat, coming from his brow. But that never happens. I mean, that's once in 13 years. Then I had this little kid. He passed out on me. Like he just goes, "I ain't feeling too good." And I'm like, "Oh, it's because you're passing out." So, I had to lay him on his back and put some peppermint in his nose to kind of wake him back up. But he's never had pain again, from that one little fix. And his mom and dad and brother all, come in now, and they're just excited because it's the little things. And, what if that kid would have gone years with that stomach in the wrong place? And guess what? Now his digestion is altered. He's not breaking down food as well. Therefore, he's not absorbing food as well. And you're only as good as the food you absorb, right? People go, "Oh, you're only as good as the food you eat." No. You could eat the best possible food ever and never absorb it, and has no bearing of good value to you or not. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah.
And so we've got to make sure that even the organs from a structural level are doing what they're supposed to do and in place. And so what we do is we manipulate bones at times and work on different joints in the extremities, and we also work on the visceral system, working on the liver, working on I had I think it was twice yesterday, if not once for sure, where I had a gal come in, and no, it was twice. It was in the morning and afternoon, where I had to do a little bit of massage on the abdomen to break up the tissue that was all scarred and adhered and bound up. And it was just really powerful because it isn't hard. Self-care, guys, is the best healthcare. And when you start realizing, again, that you can do these things to yourself, you all of a sudden, you're not panicking. You're trying things first and then seeking help if it's not working. And that's what we're trying to teach people, is how to take control of their health and recognize the symptoms that you're having. And I would love it if people just what are some symptom patterns that you're dealing with day in and day out that you maybe have had for the last 3 months or the last 3 years that you don't like? It could be headaches, it could be blood pressure, it could be cholesterol, it could be a skin rash, it could be allergies, whatever it is. But throw it up there, because it helps people realize that and what I've noticed with patients is when they come in, most patients feel that they are the only person going through this. They don't realize that there's 99 other people that are suffering as well with some kind of ailment, some kind of symptom that they don't like and definitely don't want to associate with if they could avoid it. And so we think, a lot of times, and that's what also a lot of times drives people to be a little bit, depressed or discouraged, because they, don't realize that everybody's dealing with stuff. And in the aging process, we gotta be open and vocal about the aging process so we can learn how to age gracefully. If you keep it silent and keep it to yourself and you're too prideful to ask for help, then all of a sudden, before long, your symptom patterns turn into a real disease process or a diagnosis that you don't like. And that makes it harder. See, in the beginning, disease is hard to recognize, okay? But easy to fix. In the end, disease is easy to recognize and hard to fix. Does that make sense? So we want to catch it before it turns into anything, and fix it when it was easy to fix. Because we always talk about screening, early screening processes. Well, look, a lot of the early screening processes today are early detection. Well, early detection is not prevention. Prevention is this never happened. Stomach cancer or intestinal cancer or colon cancer never happens to you, or high blood pressure never happens to you, or diabetes never happens to you. And this is what we are all about, in helping people recognize that what you start your day with. How much water did you drink today? Did you drink any water today? Did you have breakfast? I mean, I've got these two kids coming in right now, and I'm so proud of them because, they have no problems taking supplements, which I'm excited about, but they weren't getting that breakfast handled. So they were still tired in the morning, dragging through school. One of them wasn't gaining weight. And so we wanted to, I said, all right, well, where do we start? One of them was like, I just had to give him permission on how to get eggs down him in the morning. And because he was saying, I don't have time. But I started explaining all the benefits of starting your day with healthy protein and getting, the incredible edible egg is the perfect balance of fat, of protein and carbohydrate, and it allows the body to perform well going all through the morning. The amino acids necessary, the choline, and all of a sudden he starts making these changes, and he's doing better in school. His angry outbursts are drastically reduced. Well, the other kid, couldn't gain weight. She was having problems gaining weight. Well, she wasn't eating enough throughout the day. And so, therefore, of course, she's exhausted, tired. And, of course, she's cranky and moody. I mean, I'd be cranky and moody, too, if I was starving myself, right? And then all of a sudden, I'm like, all right, well, where do we start? Well, why aren't you eating breakfast? Well, it makes me nauseated. Well, anytime you're nauseous in the morning, you wake up nauseated, or you eat food and you get nauseated, that's a blood sugar cry out. That's your body crying out that blood sugar pathways are malfunctioning. And so we had to find a way to get her to eat a healthy a breakfast that she could tolerate until we got her blood sugar stable. And because in a case like that, we're going to have to get her to eat every couple hours for a little while to get her body to regulate. So we're going to have to give her good healthy snack options, good healthy breakfast options that she can tolerate to get through her day. And here we are, almost a month in, and she's been doing this, and she's starting to gain weight. She's starting to feel better, and her brain is kicking on, and school's going to, we're at the end of the school year, but we're going into the summer, we're going to be more ready for next year.
Were those siblings?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And does the mother, is she a patient as well?
She is, and she's a great patient. She really has helped the kids understand the value of taking, the supplements and using the supplements as tools. Mm-hmm. It's supplements, right? They're supplementing something. What are they supplementing?
What you're supposed to be getting when you eat.
That's right. What you're supposed to be getting when you eat. And so she really gets the concept. And again, guys, it starts today. Wherever you're at, start now. Eating better, living better, changing the dynamic of how you perform throughout your day by choosing to put better fuel in your tank.
So Amanda made a comment earlier, and I'll go ahead and read it. She said, "Good morning, glad to tune in. I was driving by Main Squeeze as you were talking, and I'm going to drop in for the first time since you mentioned it. What do you recommend?"
Let me just tell you what I get every time. I'm so excited. Might even go over there afterwards and get me one just because we're going to talk about it. It's a green protein smoothie.
but that was like 20 minutes ago.
Oh, well,
so
hopefully.
she might have ordered.
Okay.
I told her you had an immunity.
Yeah. Well, but the one I get from a smoothie perspective is called the green protein. They put peanut butter in it. I ask for almond butter because I do better with almonds than I do with peanuts. But I put almond butter in instead of the peanuts, and then I elevate it. If you elevate it, they will put half the banana in it and add cauliflower, and you will not taste it, but it will still taste creamy. And it is absolutely, positively my very favorite, drink. I have not yet gotten to that point of law of diminishing returns where you don't enjoy the flavor. My mouth waters just talking about it. And so it's called the green protein. And but every one that I've had there, their bowls are fantastic. And of course, their juices are all, delightful and amazingly stimulating to the taste buds. So they'll make your taste buds sweat and your teeth smile. So,
all right. And here are a couple other comments. One was from Jackie. She asked about, a good detox, and I mentioned that you have multiple detoxes.
Yeah. Let's talk detox a second. So yeah, detox is my favorite concept because it's 3 months worth of work inside of 3 weeks, and people might not have 21 days to do a detox, so we built 10-day programs. We built 14-day programs, or actually even 7-day programs. Most people like the 10-day at this point in time, but I mean, we've got detoxes to customize to you. If you're somebody that's never detoxed in your whole life and you're really, not sure about this word detox, what is it that you're detoxing? Well, you're detoxing toxins, anything your body cannot use. And so what we want to do is find out, well, what symptom patterns are you dealing with? What is it that you're struggling with to get through your day? Like, when do you crash and what symptoms are you having? And, can you get up out of bed in the morning? And what we find on a detox, we'll have you do a toxicity questionnaire before and after, and you will see 50%, if not 75% of your detox or your toxicity questionnaire symptoms go away inside of 10 days. And it is amazing. People go, well, can I just live like this? And I'm like, yes, you can. You can eat well every day. You can supplement well every day, and you can live long and prosperous every day. So we've got blood sugar detoxes, liver detoxes, kidney detox protocols. We've got gallbladder flush protocols. We've got our ultimate detox program where we give the body 21 days of a vacation from stress and stimulants from our diet. And we will teach you how to go through it. We got a cookbook that goes along with it and emails that go on for support. And then you can come into the office if you need physical support, which we totally recommend if you've never done one before. And the detox must be a part of your 21st century healthcare plan. If it's not, you're missing a huge piece. And I'm not, people say, well, I get diarrhea. I don't have time for, spotty bowels, And I'm like, no, it's not a diarrhea cleanse. It's not designed to leave you in the bathroom. Now, you might have a few bowel movements that are quite, like that, but that's not the norm of the whole process. It is you have to clean out the pipes, so to speak, of the trash and waste that's built up in there, and then all of a sudden your body will kick on and be like, metabolically, you'll be feeling like you're 10, 15, 20 years younger again. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. There's
a question in a comment that somebody asked. They wanted to know if you help with weight loss. Is that something you can do if somebody is looking into that?
Absolutely, because getting healthy leads to healthy weight. And so, we oftentimes say, all right, your goal is weight loss. Let's go through a timeline history and find out, what have you been through? What have you done up until now? What's worked? What's not worked? Let's find out all the reasons that you're kind of in that boat, and then let's build a plan to get you out of that boat. And that's what Jennifer Withy at my office does, myself does, and then we are literally pushing people to step outside of their comfort zones and do something unique and different for themselves, because you cannot outrun a bad diet. It will catch you, whether today or tomorrow. It maybe not so, but it will catch you over the long term of the next 5 years, 10 years, 25 years. And if you do enough of the right things, but they're wrong ideas, it's still wrong, and it's still going to lead to a bad place. If you start implementing good habits, good lifestyle choices, you start the practices of drinking good, healthy amounts of water every day, a liter per 50 pounds of body weight. My wife got all excited because she goes, I drank 120 ounces of water today. and I said, that's great, honey. And she goes, what does that mean? I said, it means you get to do it again tomorrow. We've got to get excited again about some of the mundane. The mundane is what really drives people to be well in the long run. But we try to make it fun, So there's all kinds of ways that we inspire people to make healthy living fun. And whenever you have options today like Maine Squeeze, it has real healthy juices or real healthy smoothies, it makes it a little easier. When you've got good restaurants that aren't putting partially hydrogenated oil and artificial sugars in their food, it makes life easier. Like Jason's Deli, is really known for that. They actually advertise that for a long time, that they don't use partially hydrogenated oil or artificial sugars and MSG and things in their food. Well, that's encouraging, because there's people out there that are suffering right now with headaches and migraines, and it's because of what they ate for dinner last night when they were out to eat.
Mm-hmm. Right now it's 9:24. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. It's Kickstart. We're going to be on till 11. Dr. Chop is in studio every Tuesday, 8:30 to 9:30, 10 o'clock, depending on what we have going on. And today is no different. So keep those questions coming in. If you're watching on Facebook, we appreciate you also sharing this stream out. Dr. Chapa was mentioning people feeling like they're alone in a boat by themselves. He's like, no, you probably know like 99 people, maybe even on your Facebook friends list, who are probably going through the exact same thing you are right now.
That's right.
So one way to easily, get into that same boat with them and say, hey, we can do this together, is to share this video out.
That's right. And every week, that's why we get on the radio, because we have a message to share. A long time ago, I was just concerned about getting on the radio or in a public setting like this and doing an information show like this, because I wasn't sure how to be received, but I was kind of in that same falsehood of lie that nobody's going to appreciate, nobody, is it valuable? And then one day, I've had enough patients ask, and I just got on the show with you guys. God kind of opened up the door for us to have these fun times together. And all of a sudden, people are emailing and calling our office and telling us how much they love the show. And it does help when you guys like, share, and comment, and are letting us know how we can leverage this show to your benefit. Like somebody just asked, what do you do for toddlers that are wanting to sleep or can't sleep? And the way they do that is minerals. If we can get enough minerals in your growing toddler, their body will shut down and rest at the end of a day and not be restless through the night.
What kind of minerals?
So we use calcium and magnesium. It's a coral product, and I call it white gold. It's like a powder. And you just rub a little bit inside their cheeks, and literally kids are growing at an astronomical speed, and their neurological system is so robust and developing so quickly that if we aren't aggressive with the mineral needs that they have, well, frankly, we underestimate the mineral needs they have. But if we get their mineral levels saturated, their body will rest when the sun goes down. Their body will be vibrant and alive when the sun comes up.
Wow. Well, just need to add those minerals, I suppose. But
yeah, and also I'll say, every month for the last, year now, we've been doing public talks at the office. And so this month is going to be May 14th at 6:30 p.m. And we're going to be talking about depression and anxiety and adrenal health and how to turn your system back on if you're experiencing anything that would be adrenal related. So if you don't handle stress well, you anger easily, you can't sleep, can't stay asleep, can't fall asleep, anxiety, depression, frustrated, sad, grief, depressed, any of those symptoms that might ring a bell, then you want to be at that class 6:30 on May 14th, because we're going to be talking about how, giving you solutions to why you're experiencing that. And if we can help you understand why your body's breaking down, it gives you a little hope to know that, well, if they can explain why it's breaking down, they can probably explain or give me a solution on how to fix it.
So you think there is a way to naturally treat depression? Somebody goes through these different states of severe happiness, and then, you just get depressed, go through these swings. There's a way to treat that with your adrenal?
Absolutely. So, and obviously every case is a case-by-case basis, but, I've had gals, this one in particular, was on 9 different psychiatric medications, and she was 25 years old, and she was depressed for the better part of her life since she's been, I guess, 13, 14, she said, and a lot of stomach issues, and and of course, anytime there's anxiety, depression, you can almost bank that there is going to be intestinal irritation, and it took us about 9 months to pull her through the weeds of that because we had to rebuild her whole life. I mean, like, she didn't know how to eat well. She didn't know how to, didn't know how much water to drink. She didn't know what supplements to take. And you can imagine if you're at a depressed state and you need 9 psychiatric medications, you're probably like, borderline suicidal too, like, and so her body was very, very depleted. At another, suicide type patient that was dealing with depression so bad that, she sat on my table, last year sometime with tears in her eyes and said, "I'm just afraid to even say these words because it's the first time I've ever been able to say it in 20 years, which was, I'm not suicidal." Mm-hmm. For the first time, I don't have evil thoughts going through my head plotting my demise. And it took quite a bit. Her and I'll be honest with you, her and I fought a lot. Like, we would have just borderline arguments because I was fighting for her health. I wasn't going to let her excusitis her way, to an early grave.
Yeah.
And she would fight back with, I'm not going to eat that. I'm not going to do that. Da da da. And we would go back and forth, and we literally found compromise. And that's how really, where I really saw the power in intermittent fasting. She goes, "I'll eat at this time of day, and this is what I'll eat." I was like, "Perfect, sold. I'll take it," because and we would work on cases. We worked on her case, and we both had to be ready. And that's the thing, guys. It's like not everybody all the time at every moment is ready to be well. And as sad as that is, it's the truth. And people out there don't realize it, but they always say that when the student is ready, the teacher appears, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, I think it's the same way in the wellness world. When the sick person is ready to not be broken and sick anymore, the healer appears, and I'll be the first to say, I am no healer. God is the great physician. Christ is the great physician. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever, and he can heal and touch your body and make it whole and complete, not lacking anything. And you need a good dose of Jesus every day, but you still have to shower, and you still have to eat, and you still have to put food in your body and make and fill your head full of good things. There are things that you are required to do day in and day out to live a good life, to the best possible, potential possible. Mm-hmm. And so this is the fun that I get to embark on each and every day, serving the community.
Here's another question. This is from Jackie. She says her boyfriend is from Arizona, and he's been here for about a year. Is it eczema?
Eczema.
He has eczema and works in the plants here. Over the past few months, it's gotten worse, and his face burns daily. He's gone to the dermatologist. He got steroids, but is there anything else he could do to make that feeling kind of go away? Change his diet because it's so poor. I guess his diet is.
Yeah. So this guy would be a great candidate for like incorporating our Inflammacore shake. We use a shake in the office that decreases inflammation systemically throughout the body and heals the gut lining and allows the stagnation to be alleviated via the liver and the digestive tract so that the lymphatics aren't backing up. What is happening in eczema? By the way, eczema, by definition, this is so classic to me, eczema, a skin disorder of an unknown cause. Isn't that funny? But there is a known cause. Your liver's congested. Your bowels are congested. And he might say, "Oh, no, I poop 4 times a day, and I'm proud of it." Okay, great. But the reality is, what if you've got dirty pipe syndrome, which means that you are getting rid of waste every day, but you've got 10 to 15 meals caked up inside you, and you've still got rotting, putrefying food that's backing up in your tissues. And guess what? Your body's not going to let things lie dormant and stagnant. What is going to happen is your body is going to find an exit channel. Well, your skin, being the largest organ in the body, is a great secondary or tertiary exit channel. just not it's not a good one, right? I mean,
Right.
it is a exit channel, but it's not a good exit channel. And this is when we start seeing things like eczema, psoriasis, acne, and we start seeing these things pop up, rashes, whether it's a hive-style rash or a butterfly rash on your face, depending on where it shows up. But, I mean, even the little skin tags that you see is a form of a skin disorder. And people go, oh, I don't know what that is. I guess I'm just getting old. No, it's toxins, man. It's so much toxin that your body can't even figure out what to do with it. So it built an external housing, like a remodification of the chemistry, and built you like a add-on to your house. Well, that ain't cool.
Add-ons are cool on houses, though.
Yeah, on houses,
but not on your
this
body.
house.
Yeah. So what kind of diet and nutrition should he be looking into?
So first and foremost, we want to look at what foods are potentially inflaming him. And I assure you, this is going to be a candidate that has food allergies, wheat, dairy, corn, soy, looking at the additives like, MSG, partially hydrogenated oil, artificial sugars, high fructose corn syrup, and we start pulling those things out of his diet. If he just starts there, right, and he's like, oh, what am I going to eat? Oh, man, there's so many gluten-free, dairy-free options today that you can still tickle those taste buds and not feel like you're being deprived. You know what I mean? It's like it's not even a good excuse. Oh, I don't know what to eat. Grocery stores have whole aisles now.
Restaurants have separate menus.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's you almost can't play the card any longer that you can't find good food. You know what I mean? And so it's where he starts is, all right, let's food log. I mean, if Dave Ramsey was on the show and he was talking to you about getting out of debt, he would first tell you to track what you're spending, because if you can name a thing, you can control a thing. If you can see a thing, you can modify a thing.
Can
right?
we get Dave Ramsey to come on the show?
Sure. I'm sure he would probably love to be on KHEA Radio. Who wouldn't want to be on KHEA Radio, by the way?
I love that.
Maybe Dave Ramsey.
I don't know, man. Dave Ramsey would probably love to come in,
Here.
Or, hey, what
I'm
if,
going to tag him.
I know a guy that works with people in Dave Ramsey. I can invite him on the show. I mean, he's not Dave Ramsey, but he's pretty awesome.
I think what's
Dave
important
Ramsey.
about finances is having some idea. There's so many different ways,
that's
but
right. You've got to have a direction.
got to do something.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And I think that's
health, too.
That's where we're at. So I would first say, hey, bud, if you got symptom patterns like eczema and you're sick of it, and your diet is a mess, start tracking a food log. Let's see what you're up against. What is it that you're eating? Did y'all really tag him?
Wait, no, we couldn't find the tag. And so
just put
at Dave Ramsey.
Just in case. Maybe I should put hashtag Dave Ramsey. Maybe, I wonder if he's the kind of, and I doubt he is, but maybe his team, he's like, hey guys, I want you to go look at every hashtag Dave Ramsey and then just check it out.
But you didn't put a hashtag, you put at.
I know, I put an ad. I just put it in there because I was trying to find it, but I'm going to do a hashtag too. My friends, we used to call him Rabe Damsey.
That's that. Ashley just goes, I'm not sure I want anybody to tell me to not spend money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
also,
you're right.
People are the same way, like, hey, don't eat cheese. And it's like, which would you rather hear? Don't eat cheese, don't spend money. Both are probably like,
it is. And people freak out. When I say, look, I'm going to take you off of dairy for the next 2 weeks or 4 weeks, they go, oh, wait a second. Like, whoa, backpedal. Strike that, reverse it.
Are you sure, Doc?
Did you?
I don't receive it.
Yeah, get thee behind me, Satan.
Right.
I mean, all these different things, and people have this addiction to, milk, cheese, yogurt, sour cream, ice cream, and whey protein. And guys, I'm telling you, if you're listening and you got a symptom pattern that you weren't genetically born with, I bet you money that it's a dairy allergy. Like it's so common. That, I can't tell you how many people have come in with dairy problems. What you got?
So on Tuesdays, if we made the show sponsored by Cool Cow Creamery, you'd probably be upset, huh?
I get it. What y'all have sponsorships or what? Yeah, I guess. But yeah, I would say, well, how about a sponsor above that? Because no offense to Cool Cows, hey, but I do have a fun dad joke. Did I tell y'all the dad joke last week?
I don't know. Tell it again.
If I hope that if you've heard it. I'm sorry. If you haven't heard it, you're in for a treat. All right.
Exciting.
So, if God created cows, who created cheese?
Okay.
We did see it. I remember
if
this.
God created cows, who created cheese?
Jesus.
Jesus.
You did say it last week.
That's a good one.
Okay, I got one more for you. Okay.
Man.
Sorry, one more, folks. Sorry, you're gonna have to bear with me. All right. How does Jesus make his coffee? He brews it.
Man, we didn't even get a chance.
I mean, crickets in here, man. He brews, man. He brews it.
He brews it. Okay, I got you guys.
Oh,
He brews.
That's right.
I got you.
You guys are in the church element. That should have been just like easy for y'all.
Yeah, it's 9:39. This is KHEA Radio.com, 99.5 FM. Kurt's going to take a donut break as his donut delivery service, also known as his girlfriend, is coming to bring him donuts this morning. So,
and Kurt's rocking around the studio, everybody, with one pants leg rolled up, and I'm not sure the marketing.
So,
I mean not marketing, but the fashion statement he's making.
So there's a lot of interesting choices that people make, especially my friend Kurt. And I asked him, I'm like, Kurt, why are you doing that? He's like, well, Naola likes it. I was like, Naola, maybe her taste is questionable, but that's fine. As is. She dated you, so there's that. But no, she likes you with your pant leg rolled up, wearing the same clothes from last night.
Your pant leg rolled up.
But why is your pant leg rolled up?
To look like J. Cool or LL Cool J or whoever it was in the 90s.
Got your LL Cool J vibes.
Yeah, LL Cool J. I thought you said he was RL Cool or something.
He said, yeah, I'm sure I look like RL Cool. We're like, RL Stein. Like, where are you going with this? Like, I'm not sure.
The things that happen on the radio when we're not on the radio. That's what's funny sometimes. That's the radio that everybody wants to see is.
Sometimes people feel themselves, and he's just like, oh, yeah, I look cool, right? So it's 9:40. We have about 20 minutes left with Dr. Aaron Chapa, so be sure to get those questions in. If you have anything that you were not genetically born with, there may be a way to fix it. And if you have something specifically going on, you can also text us 346-704-1806. Let us know. This is Kickstart. We're going to be on till 11, and Dr. Aaron Chapa is hanging out with us right now. I thought of something earlier, and I think this would be a good segment.
Yes.
Where it's called, like, Chapa Confessions. And maybe we even have, like, an anonymous box. It may just be me and Kurt, or people are allowed to, like, do stuff where they just kind of admit their sins. Like, Dr. Chapa, I ordered donuts before you came in today.
I'm shocked that he's, like in front of me and everything.
Shame.
I mean, that guy is just like...
He's lost all self-control.
I think you need to put him back in, timeout or something.
Jail.
Yeah.
I'm just making great TV.
Yeah. Well,
on the radio.
I mean, I'm just saying. So the that'd be awesome. Like, things that people do.
So I have one. This past weekend, I put on sunblock from like an aerosol can, and I know we talked about it.
Oh, look at his face!
I know.
It's just
I know. He's like, what? You did what?
You did what?
Having a compulsion.
I got reminded of that whenever you talked about swimming and eating, because I was like, yep, I'm just eating. Like at the pool, I got in, I didn't wait. Which you had talked about that. I never heard of anybody having any issues from that. So I ate a cheeseburger. It was pretty good. But then before I applied the sunblock and I got in the water.
Stop before you make it even worse.
I was just putting it on.
I'm starting to have a hot flash over here.
So that's my confession.
Can we do a reverse confession as well?
What's that?
So it's like when you're like you make a mistake, but you also do something really, really well.
Awesome.
Okay.
I'm thinking of the theme song.
That's totally like getting back on the train.
So Naola, who just dropped off my girlfriend, who dropped off donuts.
Donuts, yeah.
She's actually making these lip balms that's customizable. They're looking like she loves like Elder Scrolls and stuff like that. Some of those old age stuff, and so it's health potions. So they're red, blue, and green. Like if you're playing a video game, your magicka, your stamina, and your health. And the lip balms are all organic, so that whatever you put on them, you can actually eat them as well if you wanted to.
So that's your reverse chop. That's a reverse Chapa confession.
Yeah, and I helped her with it. So it's kind of like I was doing good for like a little bit. It's balancing the act, right?
Yeah, of course. I hope that that'd be like spending more than you make. Like you're still going into debt. You got to make sure that whatever good you're doing is at least countering the balance scale of what you do to derail yourself, because and it's not about like never cheating and never having a fun or anything like that, because that's one thing. It's not true. I mean, there's so many ways to make life enjoyable through food. I mean, the world revolves around food. It's just recognizing, like, if you're in a business executive world, and you have a lot of meetings all day long. Well, there's a lot of sitting that is involved in there. So make sure that you have lots of water, and because you're not moving enough throughout the day to stimulate your lymphatics to pump and move well. So if you use water to flush your chemistry, you're more your system is not stagnant. Therefore, you're going to have less symptoms that way. That could be a way that you can offset your sitting style. If you're in a car type position where you're driving from office to office doing day-to-day, door-to-door sales, so to speak, and your normal tendency is to stop in at the nearest fast food joint and get a bite of, fast food,
Burger King,
fake food.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, why don't you get you an ice chest, throw some good food in there, and you offset the bad with the good that way. And then you start looking, you know what, normally I have 5 out-to-eat meals. Normally I have 2. Maybe today you do 1. Maybe you do, every other day. You cut it in some capacity. Maybe you eat half the bun instead of all the bun.
Here's a good question. This is from Lavelle. She said, in all seriousness, does living well help people deal with food addiction? Are there products to help with that?
Yeah, absolutely. And mostly it's not only is it products to help with the addictive nature, because addiction is food addiction is no different than heroin. There's no different than nicotine, no different than anything that's addictive, right? I mean, we have so many addictive things coming at us to suck us in, whether it's coffee, whether it's energy drinks, whether it's
video games,
whatever it is, okay? And our job is to outperform the addiction, but you have to want to outperform the addiction. Like, you can't only depend on the medicine, so to speak. You also got to make some stride to improve this or that. But yes, we totally have things that will help curb an appetite, but they're not appetite suppressants, and they're not like loaded up caffeine pills that are going to make you not hungry. They're going to be things that will nourish, that will feed, that will strengthen and make the cellular function better so that your body outperforms the addiction that you're after.
There was that supplement you gave us that knocked out all of our sweet taste buds. What was that?
Gymnema is a fantastic product for that very thing. We have another one called GTF. We have a chromium product that regulates blood sugar craving pathways. And so what winds up happening is you start realizing that you are in control, and then we start strengthening your glandular system. That's your hypothalamus, your pituitary, your thyroid, your adrenals, your ovaries or testes, if pertinent to gender. Then we get in and we start doing mineral repletion. And when we start balancing out your mineral reserves and supporting those glandular systems, all of a sudden your body will perform better, and we will start outperforming addictions that you've always been gravitating towards, and you start noticing, wow, I feel better. And so in all seriousness, no doubt, no word of a lie, we make this show fun and light, and we make light of things because, we're talking about health, and people don't want to make change, but we can, and you can, no matter what you're dealing with. And that's what's so exciting. And I can't tell you how many stories and stories and stories of people with high blood pressure, and it was due to they had a cheesecake over the weekend, or they had ice cream over the weekend. The eczema issue or acne issues popped up whenever they got into this food allergy or that food allergy.
I have a question about addiction. Is it possible to treat like nicotine or even like drug addictions like heroin with changing your diet?
Yeah, so I would, and this is going to sound crazy, it's easier to help like drug addiction like Coke and heroin and stuff like that, easier than it is to do nicotine. Nicotine is a beast. It's very tough and very hard, but I think it's also because it's legal and it's readily available
everywhere,
and you can. Yeah. I mean, there are restaurants nowadays that won't let you smoke inside the restaurant, but still, I mean, even Walmart's got their little special corner for all the smoker employees. You know what I mean?
So what's the best way for someone to quit if they want to quit smoking? I saw actually somebody this morning on my Facebook friends list said, hey, day 1, no cigarettes.
Yeah. And where do they start?
I don't know where he started. That's what I was.
Yeah,
man,
and so
it's crazy.
and where I would start, number one, it's you got to do metal and chemical detox. You got to get the liver better. You got to get the glandular system better, and you got to get the minerals better. So the glandular system again is hypothalamus, pituitary, thyroid, adrenal, and the gonads. So making sure that system is running effective. We feed it, and then we use supplements to do that primarily. Then we come in with minerals. So we get green leafy vegetables coming in. We do things to wash out, excess estrogens that pop up in the body. Because for the males out there that deal with, prostate issues, prostate cancer in a male is the same cause that causes breast cancer in a female, which is estrogen dominance. And so if we can get the estrogen dominance under control using cruciferous vegetables, we use supplements to do that again. Cruciferous Complete, SP Green Food, all of us.
I'm sorry, Kurt's on donut number 3, and just chow. I had to turn his mic off
it's
10 minutes ago.
I mean, he hasn't really contributed to the show today. He's just had his mouth full the whole time. And
donut number 2. And this is donut number 2.
He's doing magic tricks over here because I promise I've seen these.
But in this wild, we could be over here talking about health and changing your life, and he's over there just stuffing his face with sugar, more sugar, and more sugar, and a side of partially hydrogenated oil. You know what I mean? But again, I mean, as painful it is to say, you can't outrun a bad diet. I mean, it ain't gonna hurt him today, but it will in time, unfortunately. And but as long as he's doing enough of his lip balms, he should be okay, right, Kurt?
It's a balancing act. Hey, I was gonna ask you. Speaking of, we were talking about nicotine. One of the things that I'm sure there are people out there who struggle with this, but that they're always concerned about getting off nicotine because of the weight that they would gain, because that's what people have said. Like the minute you stop, because nicotine is a
appetite suppressant.
Yeah. So is that something people should be concerned about, that gaining back that weight?
Well, they'll definitely potentially gain back weight if you're swapping one evil for another. Because what are they typically reaching for? Donuts and donut holes and chips and sodas and
wait a second,
energy drinks and all the stuff of the empty calorie foods, right? And if you eat make-believe health, the best you're ever going to have is what?
Make-believe food.
Make-believe health. So close.
You said if you eat make-believe health. You said the health part. That's why I said the opposite.
I blew it. That's funny. So if you eat make-believe food, the best you'll ever have is make-believe health.
Stories.
Yes, stories too. Yeah. You're always telling stories, Kurt.
Somebody else has a question about juicing. This is from Candace. How beneficial is juicing? If I were to juice for a week, is it best to juice all day, then eat a solid dinner, or only juice throughout the all day long?
So there's two schools of thought. It depends on your health, what you've been doing up till now to do on your health journey, or your just commitment level. Let's say that you've never had health in your vocabulary up until today, and you're like, I'm thinking about juicing. I've heard this word 4 times, and I even drove past Main Squeeze, and I'm going to get me something, right? Well, number one, tell Main Squeeze we sent you over there, and they'll hook you up, man. They'll take care of you, and they have juice programs that they build for patients or for clients. And they're 3 days and 5 days and 7-day ones. And you can do a full-out juice fast all day long and then have a meal at dinner time. So you eat a solid meal at dinner.
I like when you call it juice feast.
I like feasting better.
Better than fast.
Yeah, because fasting is the modern terminology. And, yeah, juice feasting to me is if you think about it, this took 2 to 4 pounds of produce to make. That's a lot of produce to make that, and it's powerful nutrients. And so if you're going to, the whole purpose of doing a juice feast is to give your body a break from digestion for 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 1 day, whatever it is. And depending on the severity of your situation, this is where we use these tools. And if you've never done it, it goes back to what I mentioned earlier. If detox isn't a part of your 21st century healthcare plan, you're missing a huge piece, and juicing is one of those factors. So you're driving in all this powerful nutrition and giving your body a break from digestion to allow that digestive tract to, 1, heal, and 2, to excrete any excess waste that you've got caked up inside of you. Earlier, I mentioned that you could have 10 to 15 meals caked up inside of you. That way, yeah, you can still be having a bowel movement every day, but it's from like 3 days ago. You know what I mean? And so we don't want 3-day-old stuff floating around inside of us, because anything that sits in your oven at 100 degrees for 24 hours, it rots. Well, the same goes in your body, especially with all the bacterium and the yeast and the heat that our body, the digestive juices and enzymes that we have floating around in there. This stuff just percolates, and it is a cesspool, and it will become. That's why 80% of all disease starts in your gut. And so if you've got a symptom pattern you weren't genetically born with, if you've got migraines, you've got skin problems, you've got heart issues, you've got sleep challenges, you're anxious, you're depressed, whatever it is, you can always say, clean the gut. And when you clean the gut, all of a sudden your liver works better, your lymphatics work better, and your body performs better.
Right, it's 9:54. This is KHEA Radio, and this is Kickstart. You're listening to 99.5 FM. We have Dr. Aaron Chapa in studio. There was a ton of great questions. If you want to reach out to Dr. Aaron Chapa, you can do that. His office is in League City, right off of 518. Dr. Chapa, is there anything else you'd like to say, and then let people know how can they get a hold of you?
Absolutely. So, no matter what it is that you're dealing with, like this last question about I just can't put the food down, but I've been off of smoking for 30 years.
That's crazy.
This is where you're asking for additional help. Praise God, you're able to get off the nicotine. I mean, you saved yourself from lung cancer. You know what I mean, and some sort of heart issue or stroke. But now let's get into that food story, and it might be just like people need personal trainers; they need personal coaching. So Jennifer Withy, myself, can get in there, and we can help you start making stride to living better. Dr. Amber, when people come in to, just for chiropractic care, you'll be surprised at whatever door you open to go in the health door. It's ultimately going to change many other facets of your life that you didn't realize were capable of being changed. So I would encourage you, Lavelle, to reach out to us and let us serve you and help you on your wellness journey. And yes, give us a call, 281-554-8600. Visit us at our website, justlivewell.com, where we have surveys and we have different information available up there that can help you be better, live better, stay better. And guys, we try to make this journey as painless as possible, knowing that it's a process. Like you've got to fall in love with the process so that you know that success is assured. And it will happen, because you can't outrun a bad diet, and therefore you can't be unhealthy with a good diet. You know what I mean? So it goes the exact opposite. But we want you to know that wherever you are, we're gonna start right where you're at. We're not going to push you beyond your limitations. We're not going to scold you, condemn you, make you feel bad about the decisions that you made if you had the cheeseburger, ate the donut, or got into the fake food. We're going to encourage you to keep pushing onward, upward, goodward, and Godward. We're going to help you and inspire you to be good to yourself one bite at a time. And it all starts with a choice. So, they say, when's the best time to plant an oak tree?
30 years ago.
30 years ago. When's the next best time?
Today.
And so today's the day. So we want to encourage you, let today be the day that you choose health and wellness through Living Well Clinical Nutrition Center. Give us a call, 281-554-8600, and visit our website at justlivewell.com and let us know how we can serve you, help you, and inspire you to live better, be better, and stay better one bite at a time. God bless you all.
Listening to KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Coming up next is Unspoken. If we only knew, this is Kickstart. We're going to be on till 11. Next, we're going to be talking about the firefighter games taking place in Texas City, Texas.
Firefighter games? That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it's taking place not this weekend or the next weekend.
Next, I think, right?
But, yeah, the 18th. It is next weekend. I'm sorry. I'm goof. It's the 17th and 18th. We're going to be live on location Friday morning at the firefighter games in downtown Texas City, and we'll also be there that night, maybe eating some fajitas.
We will see. There are local firefighter crews. So, you think of Texas City, Hitchcock, the guys in League City, they all come together, Galveston, and they see who is the best crew that will rule them all.
It's kind of like Dwayne Johnson's, big show he did in California, that Gladiator Games or something like that.
Yes.
And so it's going to be like that, where they're going to be duking it out for best of the best.
They do, yeah. And so they do okay, who's going to, squirt the bucket and make it spin and I don't know, all kinds of stuff. We were there last year. It's really hard to explain. And so that's why we bring in the experts. We bring in the firefighters so they can share what's going on.
All right, gang. Have a great one.
All right, Dr. Chopper, you're the best, man. Appreciate you.
Hey, by the way, also we're going to learn a little bit about a giveaway that we're going to be doing through the Texas City Firefighter Games as well.
We're also going to be announcing later today, not right now, but I put that Benito's gift card right there so we won't forget.
Yes. We'll do it tonight or this afternoon when we go up and get it in the computer. So I'll explain later, but there's a reason why we have to do it later.
Ooh, I'm excited for the explanation. Oh, I don't know if I'll be able to contain myself and wait, but we're going to be learning right now that the Texas City Firefighter Games, what's going on 6th Street, we're going to be learning right now, and we're jamming some Unspoken on the FM, but this is some of the behind-the-scenes stuff. Hello. How's it going? Hi. Y'all doing good? Sweet. I like your United Way shirt.
Thank you. I have some fresh Live United shirts for y'all.
And they're black?
Yeah.
That's what's up. See, are they both large?
Yes.
I told her yesterday I was a schmedium, and she said we don't make those sizes. Oh, these are like fresh off the...
I love black
fresh
shirts.
off
That's
the
what
press.
Do we got,
we got one
a straggler?
Oh, yeah.
We got a straggler, huh?
We just let him sit outside.
Maybe
we'll be with
maybe
them
a
in
little
5
bit.
minutes.
We can let him watch from outside the window. That is fine. So the Firefighter Games are taking place next weekend, right?
Next
Yes.
weekend, start at 6 o'clock Friday afternoon and run until Saturday afternoon.
Okay, cool. I was trying to explain to my Facebook friends here what the Firefighter Games are, even what kind of games that are going to be played. Can you help me out? What kind of games are going to be played?
On Friday evening, we have a Bucket Brigade challenge, and the Bucket Brigade challenge is open to anybody that wants to form a 5-person team and participate. So you don't have to be a firefighter to participate in that. And after the Bucket Brigade, we have a horseshoe contest. We'll also have a live band playing Friday evening. Spare Parts is going to come back again and play for us. And they do a good job, and we appreciate them showing up.
What kind of music do they play?
They play old rock and some new stuff.
Awesome. Cool. So
We'll
that's going to be
have
fun.
A bounce house out there,
Yeah, there's-
kids area, all the restaurants and some vendors down on 6th Street.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 6th Street has become a really happening place. And there are a ton of events that, Tech City puts on down there, right?
There is. There's usually something going on every month.
I think this weekend is it Food Truck Friday.
Food Truck Fridays go on. They had the car show last weekend or weekend before last.
Big turnout, yep.
Big turnout for that.
And then next weekend, Firefighter Games.
How many years have y'all been doing these games?
This will be number 5.
The 5th year.
So only 5 years?
Right.
Okay, cool. And who is participating as far as firefighter teams? What cities?
We get teams from all around the area: Bay Cliff, San Leon, Texas City, Lamarck, Hitchcock, Friendswood, League City. Galveston usually comes over. So there's a lot of departments within the county and sometimes outside the county. A lot of the industry, Marathon participates.
Mm-hmm.
So
And then there's a parade on Saturday, right?
Saturday morning there's a parade. At 7 o'clock we have the fun run down on Bay Street. And then the parade starts at 9. And after the parade we have the pumper races. You have to be a firefighter with the fire department to participate in the pumper races. And immediately following that, we have the water ball competition.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 big games that everybody enjoys.
Curt kind of has it's not a theory, but a statement whenever it comes to running. Also, 5Ks, marathons, especially something branded as a fun run. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. These people realize they don't have to do it, right? No one is forcing them to run, right?
Right.
That's true, but there's a lot to participate.
We give out medals for those who do.
There you go. There you
Sure,
go.
yeah. We kind of it's a fun run, but I mean it's timed. You said we give
Yeah.
out medals. You have different categories too, so it's fun. Come on and join us and
Sometimes the
go online and
medal,
register.
it's like the difference maker. Somebody's
Sure.
like,
Oh, yeah.
is there a medal? Yes, I will run. And they got their collection. They want to be able to show it off. It's a big deal.
And it's certified, so they get credit for it, right?
Oh yeah.
Certified
It's a
course.
certified
The course is
so
beautiful. It goes along Skyline Drive, and the sun starts to rise. It's
How far is it?
nice. 5K.
5K.
So, like
Hey, you could walk
Mile.
it. You could walk it.
Yeah.
I'll walk it with you. How about that?
Oh, okay.
Holding hands. It's the only way.
I just remember a fun run.
As a kid?
As a kid,
Yeah.
it was never a fun run. The teacher's like, run a mile. And you're like, oh, it's so far.
I did a turkey trot as a kid, and I was like, "This what in the world, Mom? What are you making me do? This is torture."
Where's
But
the turkey?
yeah, turkey trot.
We were doing, I'll explain here once we go back on.
We got
the
8
FM.
seconds, and then I'm going to reintroduce, and we'll talk about everything. So here we go. Good morning. You're listening to KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. It's 10:04. This is Kickstart. I'm Gardy.
And I'm Curt.
We're going to be talking about an event that is taking place next weekend. It's called the Firefighter Games, the 5th annual Texas City Firefighter Games. And we have some special guests in studio who are going to be letting us know everything that the Firefighter Games have to offer. First of all,
I was just going to say, a year ago was like we were just kind of starting out as a radio station. The Firefighter Games was one of our very first, going out into the community. And it's kind of cool to come back in a year. And now we're going to be doing our entire morning show live on location on next Friday, the 17th, on 6th Street. And it's going to be a lot of fun.
yeah, I'm excited for it. This event is an opportunity for the community to come out and just experience and support and kind of just see what's going on, right?
That's right. Oftentimes we meet firefighters on our worst day. This is an opportunity for the firefighters to meet the public, for the youth to see what goes on in a fire department, some of the different things we do, the equipment we have, our capabilities. It's an opportunity for the young firefighters in each of the departments to get to know each other, so they meet each other before they end up on a fire ground somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
The senior officers get together every month, but the young firefighters from the departments don't see each other, don't get to interact with different departments all the time. So that's an opportunity there.
Okay, can we get a little bit of your background? Because I see your badge and you're with the Texas City Fire Department. Can you kind of say, as far as what your role is in the fire department here?
I'm the fire chief in Texas City, and I've been with Texas City for over 30 years.
You started at Texas City?
I started in Texas City. I came from a small community that had a volunteer department. So when I first moved to Texas City, I was going to join the fire department to kind of meet people. Mm-hmm. And a friend of mine that we had been in the Marine Corps with said, well, it's a career department. It's a paid department. They don't have volunteers. So I thought about that for a couple of days and said, well, that can't be too bad. So here I am 30 years later.
Yeah, and that seems like it was a pretty good idea then to get to take this route.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Worked out.
Yeah, it did.
How has Texas City changed, 30 years ago to now?
Well, it's grown some. 6th Street has changed a ton. So there's more events. It used to be nothing went on 6th Street. But I was thinking last night, when I first hired in 82 and 83, there was a water ball court out on Bay Street Extension. And the older firefighters would tell me back in the 50s and stuff, they would get together as like a family events, picnics and stuff like that, and they would have a water ball competition. So I kind of reintroduced it after I got to be the fire chief and made it bigger. And when I first mentioned I wanted to do it, I was talking with George Fuller, and he said, well, I need to get you with the United Way. So it's been a great partnership with them. They do good throughout the community, and it's our way of giving back to the community through the United Way, and again, getting the community together, the young people to see what the fire service is about, and to get the different young firefighters together and compete with each other.
Yeah, is that this guy? I what am I supposed to do with that?
I was trying to be so quiet, and then I hit
just hitting his mic over there. So we were talking about health and wellness this morning, and Dr. Aaron Chapa is out of League City. He's a great guy, right? And his whole thing is not necessarily overindulging on sweets and sugar and, a natural approach. And so he calls his girlfriend before the show starts, and he's like, hey, I need donuts. I'm gonna cash app you $10. Give me as many donuts as possible. So he ate 3 donuts when Dr. Chapa was in. That's number 4. But how can you even eat that many? I don't get it.
But he's getting ready for the 5K run. You
Exactly.
need energy. Get ready to get out
the
there.
carb loading, and I don't know. But
This is number 2.
yeah.
He might be interested in a career in the police service.
Wow. That's
That just happened on our show.
Uh-oh.
I don't know where to go with that. But there is another event, and I'll see if you have any interaction with that. But like Battle of the Badges, speaking of the fire
Yes.
department and
Yeah.
the police department,
In
y'all
the
kind of
fall.
have a friendly rivalry that's been going on. Is the Texas City Fire Department involved in
We
that?
did have some. We haven't had any firefighters in the last year or so, but we've had several of them participate through the years.
Okay.
Our record's pretty good. I think we've only lost one or two. The rest we've won out of the Texas City group.
I'm a
They're
great
pretty
boxer.
good. Well, there you go.
Put me in the ring next time.
We need a
You need to be a firefighter
yeah,
or
you
a
have to be
police
a firefighter.
officer.
I
You
eat
have
too many
you have to
donuts
get
to
off
be
the
a
donuts and things like that.
Yeah. So where were you originally from? Because you
I'm
said
originally from a little town, village north of Pittsburgh, about 100 miles.
okay, and then you came down to Texas City.
Yes, when I was in the Marine Corps, I had a friend of mine that we were instructors together in the Marine Corps, and his wife were from Texas City, so
Okay.
that's how I ended up here.
All right, cool. And so the firefighter games taking place next weekend. Can we talk a little bit about the United Way's role in this event?
Yeah, so we're very thankful that our city of Texas City and the fire department, they came together to put this event on as one of their fundraisers. So we benefit 100% from all the proceeds, and then we also help coordinate it, and we're there on the day of helping hand out shirts, everything in between. So,
Awesome. So the United Way, y'all do a lot, and we've had y'all in studio before and came out, seen the office and everything. Those funds that y'all get, y'all send them out to a bunch of other nonprofits as well and put it appropriately, right?
Yeah, and the nonprofits here in Galveston County. So the money that you give, it stays local in your community. We have our 29 partner agencies that we help support. Those include Galveston County Food Bank, Big Brothers Big Sisters, Salvation Army.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So right now it's 10:10. This is KHEA Radio. Curt, you were mentioning the firefighter games last year. Having been to one before, where do you see this event going?
Well, I'm excited because if we judge again the fajitas and the eating contest or the cooking contest, it's not
Cook-off.
an eating contest.
It
I wish
was
it
for
wasn't.
us. That's what the other judge is like, what are y'all doing? Exciting comments like, be quiet. No talking. We're just like eating everybody's and just like writing down numbers.
I feel like I'm gonna know better about what to like judge
The
on,
process, yeah.
and the process of doing it. Are we judging again this year?
Yeah.
Certainly. We have Friday night. We have the chicken wings and fajitas cook challenge, and then Saturday is the chicken brisket and ribs.
All right.
Oh, we're missing the brisket and ribs piece. We're gonna have to just eat
The ribs is
fajita.
the popular judging.
College
I never get to, but I do like the ribs.
Yeah, last time they had us on standby, and we're like, well, they told us we couldn't. We're like, we're weaseling our way in one way or another. We're going to get in there.
I was
and we
shocked
did.
because it was originally just Gardy. Like Gardy judged the first piece, and then the second piece, he's like, "Hey, they need another judge. You want to come?" And I was like, "Gardy, I've been
yeah.
waiting for this moment my whole life." It was awesome.
So
And
thanks,
it's tough
thanks to
too
y'all.
because it's all good. Those are good cook-off teams that come in.
How many teams are going to be out there this year? Do we know?
We have better than 20 was the last count I got.
Awesome. That's really cool. And those are people that are probably local and just from our surrounding area coming in to see who's the best, right?
They are.
Okay. Is there any early favorites?
I like them. I like them all. I'm glad I don't have to judge any of them because they're all good.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
smells so good walking
Yeah.
through all the cook-off teams.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that's going to be there's going to be a cook-off. There's going to be live music. There's going to be all of the different games. And we also mentioned a little bit about what's taking place on Saturday morning. Can we go through that one more time?
Saturday morning is the fun run. Starts at 7 down on Bay Street, and then we'll line up for the parade at 8 o'clock in front of City Hall, run the parade at 9 o'clock. As soon as the parade's over, we'll start the pumper races. As soon as that's over, we'll set up. Public Works comes in and helps us set up for the water ball competition.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, you have judging going on. We have bouncy houses and games for the kids to participate in.
Face painting.
Face painting, and we set up a little course for them.
Yeah.
Kind of like a little fire layout course,
Obstacle course,
obstacle
yeah.
course type thing.
I like the parades because Texas City. It's like it's a good feel, especially with 6th Street and how they've redone it, and just the route that the city has laid out. Like the whole I'm not sure which way the parade's going, but it's perfectly laid out with the loop and everything, and then Palmer right there. So it kind of gives you that small town, like old school feel. At least that's what I think of when I think of a parade, and Texas City's perfect for it. So is there a lot of participants that are going to be in it? Like, who's going to be going through the parade?
Lots of fire trucks.
Lots of fire trucks. It's all mostly fire trucks, and we have an antique group out of Houston that comes down and brings some antique trucks.
Yeah, those are really cool to see.
The one truck was here in 47 during the explosion that came down from Pelly, Texas, which is now part of Baytown. So it's one of it's the last known truck that we can identify that was actually here and fought fire at the explosion in 47.
There's a lot of history with the Texas City Fire Department in regards to the 1947 explosion.
There is, and so we were happy when we found that truck. A family, Bernard Olive, restored that truck. He was a young boy when it was a truck on the line, if you will. So he played on it. His uncle was the fire chief and stuff. So later on in life, he had an opportunity to purchase it, and he did, and he restored it. So it will be, this will be the second year it's been there. But we have trucks that come as far away as Humble, Texas. We had one last year from Alabama came in.
Wow.
So trucks come from all over to
be in the
be in the
parade.
show, and they'll be out Friday night. We'll have a truck show. They park them on 6th Street, so you can come down and look at the newer trucks, the old trucks, the different types of trucks that we have and equipment we use. So.
Now, yesterday I made a phone call to the Santa Fe Fire Department and was asking them about the firefighter games, and I said, in Texas City, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. They're going to win the games, and they said no. I mean,
it's getting the pumper races and the water ball. Those are the two big ones that they want to win.
Competitive.
And they get pretty competitive. Hitchcock is always they've won 3 of the 4 pumper races. Baycliff won the water ball last year, so they want to come back and repeat. And so they do their own little. They get out, they practice, they set up practice areas, they practice this. So it's good training for them, which is kind of the chief's officer. We don't mention that they're actually out training, but they're practicing and they are training to participate in these games.
Do you guys do? If I remember correctly, it's almost like tug of war where you're shooting the
water ball. Yeah, it's a ball that has to go one way or the other, and so it's kind of like a tug of war. It's how well are you at controlling a water stream when you have an opposing stream fighting against you.
Since it is the Texas City one, do you ever turn down the pressure on the other team just to make yours?
I don't believe they do.
Just don't ask. As a chief, you're like, hey, do what you got to do.
We keep it pretty level and pretty fair.
Colleen Merritt with the City of Lamarck mentioned that the Lamarck Fire Department will be there as well. So that's cool.
Yes.
Do y'all have the opportunity to work together with these surrounding fire departments?
We do. We have a county mutual aid system, so we respond to different calls in different areas depending on the size of the fire. We've had them in quite a bit. We've responded quite a bit, and that's one of the things this fire game helped with. Young firefighters meeting on the fire ground, they don't know the guys and girls from the other departments and their capabilities, so they can get together for an entire weekend with a little friendly competition and get to know each other. At least recognize them when they get on the fire ground. I've seen that guy, before. I've seen that girl before. They're pretty good at what they do. So.
Yeah, before there's an issue where you're working side by side and you have no knowledge
I figure
who they are.
If you beat the other guy at the water ball, he knows how to work a fog nozzle.
That's true.
So.
Okay, yeah.
Do you ever be like, nah?
He's better than nozzle me. No, they never admit that. It's always the wind or the elevation on 6th Street's not quite right.
Or the pressure that the Texas City Fire Department turned down.
Yeah. So the fire department, whenever I think of the fire department, obviously putting out fires, if there's grass fires, a fire at a house or anywhere, right? I mean, how much activity is there going on, on a daily basis? I mean, I guess no activity is a good thing, but how busy do you guys
there's
stay?
Always something to do in the fire service. We test. We have 1,900 hydrants in Texas City alone that have to be tested, inspected, painted. We have air packs that have to be tested every year. Bunker gear's got to be checked and tested. So trucks got to be maintained, clean, oil. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. We run EMS in Texas City, so that's 6,200 calls a year just in EMS. There's a report written for every EMS call that takes 30 minutes. You can see how the hours start stacking up that they have to do stuff.
So if people have a real emergency, they call y'all, not if like their dishwasher's flooding.
He did that. He called this dude called he called 911 and told them that his dishwasher was overflowing, and the next day he came and told me that. I was like, why would you do that?
I was freaking
What'd they
out.
tell
I
you?
didn't know what to do.
They told him to call his apartment complex. I was like, yeah, you should have called your apartment.
I did, and they didn't answer. What do I do?
Then they called him right back,
Grab
and
him up.
they turned the water off. Like they turned.
I tried the same knob. It was a bad
So
night.
that we come out and shut the water off.
Yeah, I was hoping you guys.
And then we talked about you all the way back to the fire station.
It happens.
Bad.
I'm sure it's not.
You'll
just
be one
him,
of the old
right?
stories. I remember one time this guy called because his water dishwasher was flooding out.
I was
Yes.
scared. I was like, what happens if I drown?
He's on the second floor. He's on the second floor of his apartment complex. We got some issues. I noticed on your shirt right there, it says fire inspector. Can you introduce yourself and kind of say what your role is?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Dio Gonzalez. I'm a fire inspector and also assistant emergency manager for the city of Texas City. In this role, I've been with the city a little bit over a year. So I go out in the city, inspect buildings, commercial buildings for occupancy certifications, make sure that the fire and life code is up to code, and trying to make sure we try to keep everyone safe. So that's what we do.
So every building, new construction, somebody has to go out there like yourself or you and just check it to make sure it has all the proper code things.
Make sure it's up to code, building code, fire code, along with the fire marshal's office. That's what it falls under. And then you have the building code, which is under the buildings department as well with the city.
Okay.
But most of those codes and regulations, they kind of overlay within our departments, but it's a good time.
What kind of things and precautions do y'all take? Like, what is necessary? I'm thinking of like fire extinguishers. If the building's this big and needs a fire extinguisher there, maybe a sprinkler system. I'm sure there's a lot more.
Sure, definitely. It depends on the rating of the assembly. What type of business is going out of that place. How many people are going to be.
Or like a school or something. It probably needs extra.
Yeah,
extra
definitely.
things.
Yeah, in your school, you would want, of course, your fire extinguishers, sprinkler systems, your pull alarms. You want to make sure your fire alarm is being monitored by an outside agency. That way, the fire department will show up when there's a fire. So there's a lot that goes into an inspection, and especially to a new building. There's a lot of new construction coming in to the city. So as Chief could tell you, the fire marshal's office is busy.
What kind of things can civilians, just everyday people, do at their house to make sure that they're prepared if there's ever any issues? Is there little things or suggestions precautions they can take?
Well, you want to start with a working smoke detector.
Mm-hmm.
That's always good. Change the battery out every 6 months or so. And be careful with your extension cords. Don't run them outside and use them permanently. Always get an electrician in to do your electrical work. If you've got a water heater that needs replaced, get a professional to replace it if you're not familiar with how they operate. Things like that. Have an exit plan. It's always good to have an exit plan for in case of emergency. Where am I going to get out? How am I supposed to get out if I'm in the bedroom? How am I supposed to get out if I'm upstairs? Where are we supposed to meet once we're outside? Things like that. It's called a NEATH plan. It's an exit drill in the home.
Mm-hmm.
So
I have some thoughts about summer coming up. July the 4th is a very popular day for fireworks.
Fires.
And I'm guessing maybe fires as well.
Works.
So I live in a neighborhood, and I got neighbors. It's in the city limits, right? They're popping fireworks left and right. For me, like, I'm trying to put my kids to sleep, especially if it's in the week. And so for me, I'm just like, okay, I understand, but it's like midnight, and they're still popping. I'm ready to pull a Curt, call 911, like on everybody sometimes. But you're kind of the opposite way. I think you're just like,
no,
you don't have kids.
Light them up. Let's go.
He's the one doing it, right?
But yeah.
I didn't. I guess it was weird for me when I came to Texas because in Nebraska We light them up all the time. Like there is no ban.
It's just the cornfields, which could be dry, and you're going to burn all the crops.
Exactly.
So what are y'all's thoughts on fireworks in the city limits? Is it dangerous? Does it depend on the weather? Let people have their fun? Maybe like personal and official stances on those. He's looking at the chief.
We'll let the fire chief take
personal
that
and official. I get the concept everybody wants to have fun, but fireworks are dangerous. It doesn't matter if you're in the city limits or if you're out in Nebraska in the cornfield setting off fireworks. You can lose hands, fingers, eyes. I mean, they're just dangerous.
I did throw it at my cousin one time. I was mad. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. It did hit him in the back of the ear, though.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
So they're dangerous. I recommend you don't mess with them. Just because it took 5 seconds for the first one to go off doesn't mean the second one won't go off in a second.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's gunpowder and paper and stuff, and things go wrong.
That was the thrill of it. You never know if it was going to go off in your hand or not.
Could be the last thing you ever hold, really.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Is it worth it?
No.
Is the risk worth the reward?
As an adult, I look back and I remember we were pretty bad.
is that a busy evening or day, weekend?
We must be neighbors because my neighbors are setting off fireworks all night. What are you going to do?
Ticket them, shut them
Well,
down.
But if
Arrest them.
If they have a package of fireworks sitting there and it's unopened, you can't confiscate them because you cannot prove that they were going to set them off. So
Execute
them. It's a pretty big lobby group.
I got you.
I would tell you that.
Gardy wants to fill our jails and prisons with firework people, like
firework offenders.
Firework offenders.
First time.
No.
20
years in jail.
So I live like, League City-ish, but I live close enough to KHEA, close enough to Bay Cliff, and then in League City. So you can see like these fireworks, like literally in my backyard. It's like, oh, there's KHEA, like there's Bay Cliff, there is my neighbors, right there. So there's a fireworks show. But I love that, Galveston and KHEA, there's like official fireworks shows that go on that you can see, and you don't have to be right up on it. And there's several different ways, and there's safe options as well.
Go to an Astros baseball game on Friday night. They
Every
have
Friday.
Fireworks after the game every Friday night.
Every Friday.
Yep.
So it seems like
So
So how's that
it's
donut,
a danger.
buddy?
So is that another donut?
That's another donut.
It was a kolache.
Now we have to call, now, Chief. I think we should call them out and have them join or make a bucket brigade team. How about that, Chief?
You guys get together, get some
You
friends.
guys can
and make
record-
it-
Work
record it
those
live.
donuts off.
Yeah.
Work the donuts off.
Okay,
I
what's
can't
the
work with this guy. Like he's
Bucket Brigade?
he's
Is
just
that-
gonna be like,
It'll
I'm
be
gonna,
team building for you guys.
he's
it
gonna be
just
eating
me,
donuts,
Gardy?
and I'm just like trying to do
No,
something.
you need 3 more.
Three more.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
where you fill up the buckets and
Yeah.
you try and you
Yeah.
get the.
You throw it up on the roof. It runs into the gutter and then
You
runs
fill it
in
up
and fills
first.
up whoever fills it up first.
That's right.
It'll be a good thing.
What's
right.
Is that Friday night?
That's
Yes, sir.
Friday night.
Is that too early for you, or
I think we have some football
I
teams.
need, I need
think
a couple of days notice.
A couple.
it's a week and a half.
hey, you can't turn it down on the radio?
It's donut
you've been,
years.
You've been called out officially.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
He gets called out for stuff all the time. What is it about?
Well,
what is it about him that makes?
Put a team of your friends together and then you can film
There
it
you
and
go.
talk about
Or
it.
you could take a couple random callers and do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Kurt, good luck
Yeah.
finding friends.
Yeah. Who wants to
Wow.
be on the team?
So Gardy, Jennifer, Ethan, and Crystal. There we go. We got 5.
You have a friend named Gardy?
You.
You know another Gardy? That's cool.
Are you scared, Gardy?
Yes.
Okay. Me
To be
too,
on your
actually.
team.
Me too, actually.
Wow. So, what's up, Facebook? We're streaming live on Facebook. We're also on 99.5 FM. If you have ever been to the firefighter games or even heard of them before, let us know. Are you planning to go? It's going to be next weekend. It's an opportunity for you to take the family out. There's going to be a cook-off. Can people still enter into the cook-off competition?
Yes.
So there's space. If you want to
There's space.
enter the cook-off, you can do that still. Maybe you have the best barbecue, fajitas, and
Chicken
ribs
wings,
around. Yeah.
Ribs,
Yeah.
brisket, chicken.
And we're still taking entries to the fun run Saturday morning.
And that's a 5K.
Yes, 5K and a kids 1K.
Okay.
Yeah.
How far is a 1K? Like a mile and a half or something?
It's less than a 5K.
I'm not good at like European
1K?
math or
You
something.
cannot
1K.
sign up for
There
the
you
1K.
go. You can do the 1K.
You can't
Build
do the
up
1K,
slowly
so there's
over
an
the
age
years.
limit.
There's an age limit? I could do 1K. I actually did run a 5K one time. I also remember the fun run. Now, I was going to get to this before we were on the Facebook page talking about how like people don't have to run. Like you're not being forced to do it, and we were forced to do it as a little kid. And I remember, I think this is where like exercising and everything else was ruined for me. Okay, we had to run this mile, right? It was called the fun run, and it was a mile long, and the first 2 in each grade got a little award, and they got their picture taken, and it got hung up on the walls. And I was one of those kids. I'm like, I want to win awards. I want to be on the wall, right? So I was never going to win first place because there was a guy named John Rodisill, and he was always going to win. But second place was always up, right? So I'm running, and I'm running the entire thing, and I'm like keeping track in my head where my classmates are, you know, and I'm in second place, right? And I start to make the final turn onto, like, to get back to the school. Second place, I look behind me. The guy who's like third place is walking. I'm like, I've ran this whole thing. I haven't stopped yet. And all of a sudden, that little bit of walk, that little bit of walk, like regenerated him or something. I don't know. It was like Iron Man or something. Got his juice. And, yeah, he blew past me and got second place. I was mad. I was like, you stopped and walked. You shouldn't get second place.
I wonder if he walked the entire time and you're just that slow.
Like, there's only 3 of us in the class, right?
Wow. Okay. We're going to take a quick break on the FM. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. Coming up next is Hello Future. Stay tuned. We're going to be talking more about the firefighter games when we come back. Boom. So...
I remember that kid's name, too. It was Ben Clemens.
Tag him. Are you Facebook friends with him? Ben Clemens.
I don't know if I'm friends with him. I just remember. That's one of the things I always remember. Ruined working out and exercising for me forever.
What grade was that?
First.
Yeah, probably like...
We got to work our sponsors.
It was probably like 11th grade.
I want to say it was like 3rd grade.
Okay.
Like 3rd grade. It was back over there. I can remember the route and everything.
In Nebraska.
In Nebraska.
So it was uphill and downhill?
No, it was flat. We're flatlanders.
Was it through the cornfields?
No.
You set on fire?
Yes. Cornfields on fire.
Kurt, you should have been popping fireworks back at him. Like had a backpack
there you go.
firing behind the guy
Like
walking.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
man.
Mario Kart.
I should have tripped him. Looking back at it as 3rd grade Kurt, I should have told him, like, dude, trip the guy as he's running past you. Right?
Yeah, whatever it takes, I guess. So you all have some sponsors and partners that are helping make the event possible?
We do. Got a whole list of them.
I'll check them out. Let's see.
KHEA Radio.
I recognize some of these upstart businesses here.
Companies, yeah.
Amico, Marathon, Buc-ee's, Valero, Tex New Mexico Power.
Man, I bet they're going to do great things in life.
I'm going to follow these Buc-ee's guys.
Keep them close.
This is cool. Okay, who else we got? Ashland, HCA, Houston Healthcare, Carnes Funeral, Hospitality Health ER, and the Galveston County Daily News. So these are all people that have come together, and they're helping make this event possible.
$dollars to make this thing work.
Is it an easy thing to get sponsors for this event?
No.
It's not.
It's not easy. But
I feel like it would be.
United Way
easy.
the United Way is good at
Well, the United Way has been doing big things for such a long time.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody's like, hey, yeah, I want to be involved with this event.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're very thankful for our continued support from our sponsors.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
I-45 now is not on there, but they'll also be a sponsor.
Oh, we
They'll
did.
be out there too.
Remember we had talked to TJ. He had said he was going to be out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We like TJ and I-45 now.
Cool. So, is there a favorite sponsor?
You can't say
I
that.
didn't ask that.
No.
Oh, we're here now,
We
aren't
love
we?
them all.
We're here now, aren't we?
99.5.
KHEA Radio.
There you go.
I heard him say it. We record this and go back and we'll play it later and be like, their favorite sponsor is.
Yeah, edit and everything. Huh?
So there's a horseshoe tournament.
There is a
7:30.
horseshoe tournament.
Are you
That's
reading his
after the
notes?
bucket brigade.
Yeah, it has
Yeah.
everything laid out on here. Cool.
Did you print these out specifically for this?
I think it's for
I
the
keep
entire
that,
event.
though, when I talk to people, 'cause, like I go to meetings here and there and I talk and I don't want to forget stuff, so I keep a list every year.
Man, I remember the meeting we had with y'all. That was a big table.
Where'd y'all get a big table like that?
We want a big table like that. It was
That
kind of
was actually
intimidating.
handmade and donated to us.
Was it?
Really?
Yeah.
Because it's a giant table. I don't know where they... Who has a workshop that big?
Right.
We have a table that's like a third that size, and I was like, oh, this, it's our like big table, and then there's like a giant table.
It's kind of intimidating. I was a little
table?
like nervous. I was sweating.
Aw.
all the donuts I ate that morning were coming out of me. I was like, man, come on.
Are you okay now? Are you nervous
I'm fine
now?
No, I'm never nervous.
You just
except
said you
for
were.
that moment. That was the only moment in my entire life I was nervous.
Well,
Was that when water was pouring out of your dishwasher?
Oh, that was nerve-wracking. Yes, I forgot about it. Oh, my God. You never know what you're going to do in a moment like that when you're, like, freaking out. Because I was like, I had the door of the dishwasher, like, open as well. And it was just pouring out. I'm like, that makes no sense. You're shut off. Why are you pouring out water? I don't get this.
Was it like soapy water or it was just like
Water. Just water. Like, it was just somehow the dishwasher wasn't stopping it.
I could see be like, wait, you're supposed to use soap? You're supposed to use soap in the dishwasher?
I use soap in the dishwasher.
Then why wasn't it pouring out? Tide.
Because it was from the other thing. Like, it wasn't. Yeah.
I don't know. He moved out of that apartment. So
I flooded it, so I needed to move out.
he had to move.
So safe
for
to
you to
say
go.
you didn't get your security deposit back, did you?
I have not yet. Actually, we love Glacier Court Apartments. They're one of our partners here at KHEA Radio. We probably shouldn't talk too much mess about
I'm sure y'all know. Do y'all know where Glacier Court is?
Uh-huh.
Figure I would. Y'all kind of have to know where everything is. Being, a firefighter, just having to know, like, hey, this is where this area
You
is.
can't just follow the smoke anymore since we do EMS. There's not smoke. So.
Mm-hmm. How long have y'all been doing the EMS?
2008.
Okay.
So 11 years.
And so that entails, like, if somebody does call 911, they have an emergency, they need paramedics, first aid, or you're the first on the scene, first responding, right?
Right.
So it can be anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think 80% of the department's all paramedics now. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a big part of what we do.
I just saw Benjamin Clements just tuned in. I tagged him and I said, just talked about you.
I felt like you're saying Clemens, but you tagged it Clements.
The second place runner?
Yeah, the second place runner in the fun
Want to
run.
beat you?
Yes.
Invite him to the fun run. Maybe he will beat you again.
Wow.
Challenge
There
him.
we go.
Challenge him. I have to beat you.
He just said what? Yeah, hey, Ben, we were
He's
talking
like,
about the fun run where you beat me.
Maybe third grade.
He
What grade
probably
was that?
doesn't even remember
Yeah,
it.
he's like,
He
"That was
probably
you?"
it was just me.
He's like, that
I'm
was
the-
you?
He probably doesn't even remember it at all. There's just me. It sticks in the back of my head. He goes, "What are you talking about?"
What keeps you up at night?
Just run it by him one more time. So here's what happened.
Yeah, so we were running in the fun run, and I was in second place. I was going to get the medal, and Ben, you were walking
In third.
in third place behind me, and I saw you walking. I'm like, I've ran this whole thing, and then that rejuvenated you, and you ran past me and got second place, and you got your award and got your picture on the wall, and I didn't.
Speaking of races, did y'all see or watch anything about the Kentucky Derby? Did y'all pay attention to that at all? What happened?
I heard it, but
Yeah. I guess not.
Yeah, they're still speaking about
I
it.
heard there's like
with the
something
foul.
going on.
There was drama. Not quite as big as Kurt's drama, but for the first time in the history of the Kentucky Derby, like 150 years, the guy who won is not the winner. And so there's like millions and millions of dollars of bet. Like all this stuff is,
Yeah, it's a big deal.
yeah.
I guess if you're running in 6 inches of mud, your horse might slip a little bit.
Yeah, it kind of veered over the lane and
I
they
didn't see if it
disqualified
was
him.
number 3. It might, maybe it was. The number 3 in NASCAR used to do that.
Oh.
Dale Earnhardt?
Dale Earnhardt used to do that.
Is it illegal in NASCAR?
No. Dale Earnhardt made
Rubbin's racing.
Rubbin is racing.
Yeah, that is horse racing. So what makes a difference? It's racing.
That's what I was wondering. Why
Are
is
you
it
a big
not okay?
Nebraska? Are you a big NASCAR fan?
Yeah, yeah,
We just became best
Yeah.
friends.
yeah. There you go.
My dad was a huge Jeff Gordon fan. I joke about this
My
with
wife
you.
was. It
Oh.
made for interesting conversation.
My dad, we would go to church, and on NASCAR, the pregame starts at 11 o'clock. Church started at 10. My dad would give an earful to the preacher if she went longer, or he went longer than what they needed to, so that they could get out of church in time, so he could be at home watching the pregame at 11 o'clock. Not even like the start of the race, which is always at noon. It was the pregame he had to be home for.
Man.
Gave the preacher an earful. Like,
I feel
hey.
like he's wasting valuable time. Like he could be leaving the facility to go to the pregame race and watch from home. But he's like sitting, I can't even imagine. Like knowing you,
And NASCAR races are
I can't imagine
long.
your dad.
They're like 2.5 hours. Wow. Wait,
It
what?
would have been next level, Kurt.
It was
Oh
next
man. The drama.
The drama.
Even if you have to create it yourself.
I was a big Tony Stewart fan. Who
Uh-oh.
are you rooting for?
Nowadays, I don't really have a favorite, so I don't really care who wins it. I just
Enjoy it.
Anybody but the Bush brothers. But after that, I don't.
NASCAR's not the same anymore.
No, it's basically follow the leader anymore.
Right.
If NASCAR's listening,
Tag NASCAR.
yeah, it's just follow the
The
leader.
glory days of NASCAR.
Yeah, because back then you could pass. You could actually get up and run side by side and race for the lead. Now it's
I don't
when
understand
they stop the green flag, whoever's in the lead stays in the lead.
You know, so that reminds me, we had a conversation with some people from the fire department before, a while back, how I guess the training now for people to go through, I'm not sure if it's called like fire school, like to become a fire
academy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Is it easier now than it was, say, 30 years ago whenever you were going through it?
No, it's a lot harder now. They come out with a lot more training than we had. It's a lot. It's different. Firefighters nowadays have to know hazmat. They have to know rescue techniques beyond a fire, confined space rescue, things like that. So there's a lot more things that you have to learn. The gear's different.
So it's just a lot. It's a lot more difficult now.
Yeah, there's and you got to remember that teaches you the basics. It's called Basic Fire Academy for a reason. So once they come out and get certified with the state, then they still have a lot of training they have to get.
Is every firefighter certified? Is it EMT? Is that what it is? For EMS,
They're certified at the paramedic level now.
Okay.
Not every department requires it. A lot of us do. Texas City now, you have to be a firefighter and a paramedic. So not only that, but you have to be a hazmat technician. You have to be trained in water rescue, confined space rescue. We do shipboard firefighting. There's no port of Texas City Fire Department. The Texas City Fire Department is the port fire department. They have to be industrial trained firefighters. 75% of the industry in Texas City, we are the primary first responder. You have Maryland or Marathon and Valero and stuff like that, but those are the bigger ones. The smaller ones, we're it.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to be trained in that type of firefighting.
Can you explain a little bit of the hazmat, I guess, training, and what are some instances where that would be utilized?
Well, hazmat can be utilized anywhere. You have railroad running through town hauling hazardous materials. You have trucks going up and down the interstate all day long, every day, whether they're delivering gasoline or moving product out of a marathon. You have ships coming in and out of the port. We're the fourth largest port in the state that moves millions and millions and millions of barrels of product every year. So they have to be familiar with the different type of chemicals. There's a host of them out there.
Mm-hmm.
There was a big fire just down the road in Deer Park.
The ITC fire, and then we had one right before that, Exxon Baytown, and then right after, so we had three of them there in the span of about 3 weeks, I think.
And you had to be ready to go to deal with all of those.
Some of our industrial partners in Texas City responded up to the ITC fire. But none of us Texas City firefighters went. But those are the type of fires that you can have in Texas City, for sure.
And are you guys prepared for that? And how do you prepare for something like that?
Train, retrain, re-educate, stay in your game. It's what we do, so we have to be familiar with it.
What kind of process does it take to put something like that out? That one over there in Deer Park.
It's quite involved. Water's not going to put it out. You're going to have to use foam, what we call firefighting foam. But you have to make sure you have enough foam on scene before you start foaming, because in the simplest terms, foam suppresses the vapor. So once you put the foam blanket out there and suppress the vapor, the fire goes out, but you have to maintain that foam blanket. It won't stay. It's like soap suds in your sink. If you let the water sit there long enough, the soap suds go away and you can see the water again. In industrial firefighting with those type of chemicals, you got to make sure that foam blanket stays in place.
Is it the chief in Deer Park, or who's the person who makes the decision?
Deer Park has SEMA, which is Channel Industrial Mutual Aid. That is, as I understand it, one group that's responsible for providing fire protection to all the chemical plants in Deer Park and Channelview area.
Okay. Because does it come down to a team, like making a decision, like, okay, we use the foam, now we're trying to contain, now we just put it out? Like, who is that person?
There's not just one person. You have people from chemical, you have people from the city. In Texas City, you would have all these together in a unified command, determining the logistics, supply, things like that. When is it time to start flowing foam? Are we sure we got enough coming? We have enough on hand. So it takes a lot of coordination, and it looks like for a little while at the beginning nobody's got a grip on anything. But you're looking at that. You're looking at the effects on the city. Do we need to keep shelter in place for the community? Where are the schools? Are the schools in school right now? Do we have? So there's a lot of overview and people that are at different aspects or different training. You're working with the police chief who understands the things that the police have to do. So you stay pretty busy. So you're gathering a lot of information and making decisions as a unified command.
Okay. So we're going to go back on the FM right now and keep talking. There we go. Good morning. You're listening to KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. This is Kickstart. I'm Gardy.
And I'm Curt.
It's 10:44. We're talking about the Texas City Firefighter Games that are coming up quick. They're going to be next weekend. We had the opportunity to go last year. It was a ton of fun.
Yeah, we were able to be the cooks. We judged the fajitas together. You were sitting across the table from me.
No talking.
I was chowing down. There was a lady to the left of me.
She got mad at us.
She was angry.
But she's pro.
Apparently, you're not allowed to just eat the cheese. You have to try the fajitas too. You can't judge the fajitas next to what kind of cheese flavored what there was, right?
I think it was a palate cleanser, like just slices and cubes and blocks of cheese and pickles. Yeah. So he was just popping them, and she was like, she got upset. But I think because it was not her first cook. It was literally our first cook-off.
Is she going to be there
judge.
again?
I feel like she's going to be there. She's going to be having an eye out.
Do y'all already know who we're talking about?
She volunteers.
Uh-oh.
That's what's so fun. That's awesome that y'all already know who we're talking about just based on that.
She's very good at it. Yeah.
So I will say this. Since then,
brush up on your editing.
Hey, this is Texas barbecue, serious stuff down here.
Yeah.
So
we've strained ourselves up.
Since then, we've had the opportunity to go to Houston, and go to different places, and I want to say that we're still the same, but we've done some more judging, and
they let you judge at the Houston barbecue.
Well, no.
We just ate from the barbecue
plate
that was in the Houston bar, so we figured it would count.
We talked to the guy who was running the whole thing, like he was the head of the committee. So we had some conversations with him about tips. What are the judges looking for? What's going on? Consistency. So we talked to some of the 500
teams. You now got educated. You are ready to judge.
We've been studying.
Yeah,
I just wish you didn't have to write down a number then.
We brought you guys up in that experience. We said so. We talking to the head of the whole livestock show cook-off thing. We talked about Texas City Firefighter Games, how we were judges of the cook-off, right?
Right.
And we talked about our dilemmas that we had.
Yes. My dilemma is I have to make up a number right then and there. What if I want to go back through and be like, no, that was the best one? What if I give it a 6 and then I'm like, I gave the best one a 6?
Yeah. I have to give this one a 4 now. Right?
Yeah.
Right? It's hard. It's that was the best, and now I've messed up. I've done goofed. You can't go any higher than 10.
Yeah.
Maybe
I know it's tough.
Maybe you just start to, and it's just like the 10's 11. You're like, nope, 11. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Gardy was going back and changing numbers.
I got yelled at. I did. She's like, you can't change it. I was like, why are you cheating? Why are you looking over here? Mind your business. Looking at my numbers over there. No, but there's presentation. There's obviously the flavor, and there's a lot that goes into it, and it's a big deal.
You have to look for the smoke ring around the brisket.
I like the smoke ring.
Yeah.
I like the smoke ring, and whenever it comes to brisket, which we didn't have the opportunity to judge brisket for that one, but I like the bark, the crust on there, and
can I make a statement too?
Yes.
I think a year ago when we were judging the fajitas might have been the first time that I ever had fajitas.
Oh gosh.
And I was judging it because I was like, wow, this is real. This is really, really good. And I was like, why is this so tasty? I've never had this in my life. But I didn't want to tell anybody because I was judging it. And I was like,
So then you got full then.
Wait, that was your first time you've ever had
I
fajitas?
think that is the first time that I remember. I've had them since.
He's had a very sheltered
Oh
food
my
life.
gosh.
Being from Nebraska,
Yeah, they don't have fajitas in Nebraska.
they're not doing, brisket. They whenever it comes to
I don't
Mexican
remember
food,
growing up having brisket either.
Really?
Yeah.
No,
That I
that's a
remember.
Texas
That's so
thing.
sad.
I remember hamburgers, I remember hot dogs, and I remember steak. And that was like what we ate, and that was all we ate.
And that's it. And you're going to deal with it and go to bed and not complain about it, right?
Right.
Kinda what
It's
happened.
like, eat this steak from Omaha Steak Company.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I like steak too, but
Steak and mashed potatoes.
for Texas and especially our area, we talk about this as well. There's Tex-Mex, Mexican food, and then there is barbecue. So those are like the big ones. And, with the Tex-Mex with the fajitas and all that. So if there was any new category in the cook-off, what do y'all think it would be? And can we make a suggestion?
Hot dogs are out. We're not. We're not going to do hot dogs.
My suggestion was going to be straight up tacos. If you have like a taco, but it would have to be pretty fresh. But like
Oh, that's how we could do it.
a taco cook off where it's like, okay, a judge, you make 5 tacos, serve them, and then it's like who has the best taco.
That's how we find the world's best taco. I've
a taco
always
cook-off.
wondered is how do we pick? Because you and I, we eat tacos all the time. And we have this group called Talk of Taco, which is why we have all these tacos laying around, is because we're looking for the world's greatest taco. That's
correct.
Right? And so we go and we try, whether that's like your grandma or, like the dude down the street, that's what we want to find. And we've had a bunch of people who we filmed and stuff. But how do we go back and judge the pork tacos that we had for the first one versus the one that we had over here at Los Compas? How do we judge all of those together? Well, we have a cook-off.
I feel like we'd
That'd
get
be
yelled at
fun.
if we're judging the fajitas and we bring our own tortillas and we just like make our own taco there. I wonder if the other judges would get mad.
I think that's frowned upon.
Yeah.
But as long as it's the same tortilla, I don't know.
Maybe just wait till you're done trying, then go visit the team.
Can I have the queso, like dipping sauce to dip the fajita meat into the queso?
Yeah.
It would have to be homemade queso. It would have to come with it
Yeah.
as part of the
Yeah.
From the
plate.
team.
Yeah,
Okay, so
definitely.
let's get an announcement to all the teams that Kurt's going to be there and he's going to want queso for all of that. Is that possible?
Bring
I don't
on
know.
the queso.
I don't know.
Well, if you start talking about it on Friday morning, I feel like the teams are going to have to be out there at least setting up, if not cooking already. So maybe you can
They
just
usually
kinda,
start setting up around noon on Friday.
Okay,
So
so
we don't take bribes of queso, but quesos are recommended.
Well, there's no way to rig a food competition whenever it's done right. You got the rules, and they make sure that you
That's
are.
why we have the lady there that controls the judges.
She's you did
got
that
it
on
out for you, buddy.
purpose.
What's her name?
Yeah. We're not gonna.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
She's a pro.
She's a pro.
No, that's a big deal because you have to do these certifications and classes and everything.
We can become professional certified judges.
That's a lot of weight to carry. We were at we emceed the San Leon Oyster Festival that happened, a couple weekends ago, and they had a whole
we needed a
competition.
certificate for that.
It was fun, but they had.
I heard they had a good turnout.
They did,
They
yeah.
did.
Mickey Gilly was there.
The best part was the MCs.
Oh,
And the
who's those
oysters.
guys? Who's those guys?
Some unknown radio station in Lamarck, Texas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but the oysters were all good, and they had probably about 20 teams there or so.
So you had to judge it. They let you judge it.
No, we didn't.
No.
'Cause we were tied up.
You were tied up.
And they
Oh.
had some, actually, like for the World Food Championships, they had a judge there. Her name is Mary, and she is a local chef. But I know she was talking about, with Jennifer Fuller, she had told me later that there was like these classes and courses, and you have to go through all the certification to be an official judge and be able to do it on that level. So it's a big deal. But to have somebody like that to come into Texas City and make sure that everything is on the up and up is really cool. So what is your favorite part? Like, what are you looking forward to the most out of the whole event?
I enjoy the water ball.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to be on one of the teams?
No.
Is it not fair? It would be like cheating?
Yeah.
Cheat code.
Well,
How many competitions?
be.
Yeah.
no, the water ball. I enjoy the water ball because that's, it's one team against another, and it's heads up competition.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad and my uncles and stuff all played that when I was a little boy growing up. So
Wait, you had water bullfights?
they had water, but yeah, they used a 16-gallon keg instead of a little rubber ball. I guess safety has caught up with us over the years. But they would use 2.5 lines. They would hose the other team down. And it was pretty rough back then.
You know, there is things called like tug of war, you know, where you actually use a rope.
Yeah,
it's a lot safer.
Nah, we're firefighters.
So you come from a family of firefighters?
I do.
Okay.
So when I was growing, I was too young to play in the games, but I had a cousin that was a pretty good-sized fellow. And some of the other teams, you would put your big guy up front because if you get hit with a 2.5 hose line, you're probably going to fall down. But Doug never did.
Wow.
So, because if the other team started moving the ball, you just hose the team, and then while they were trying to get guys back up, you'd get back on the 55-gallon or the 16-gallon beer keg and get it pushing your way.
Being from
we don't allow that anymore. Don't hose the other team down, and it's a plastic rubber ball.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure to be at somebody's face.
Yeah.
I was actually I just moved.
We had to have a helmet for it.
I moved new apartments. You know, I flooded the last one.
Right.
But the shower that I have in here is like one of those showers that the pressure is so high that it like literally takes your skin off, and I love it.
That's good.
I love it. But yeah, that pressure would probably wipe someone's skin off.
It was rough back then. Then safety guidelines came in, so you can't hose the other team. But it is good, and they enjoy themselves.
What parts of the weekend in the firefighter games are y'all looking forward to the most?
I love the bucket brigade. That's always fun to watch. That kids can actually participate in too. So it's a good time.
Cool. What about you?
Bucket brigade. That's where the fun's at. I'm on a team with the assistant chief Rubio, and you're gonna love our team name. Straight off the couch. All right?
No training.
Straight off the couch.
No training. I like that.
it. I love it.
So
See, y'all got to
gather
play
5.
against
You
them.
need 5. Be a good time.
Gardy, let's just agree to do it.
Can't we just be like cheerleaders for your team? I
yeah.
love.
It'd be cool. You could Facebook Live. Maybe put a GoPro on you. Yeah, it'd be
Gardy,
a good time.
we could beat them.
I don't think so.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, what if we did? Then we get his job title too, right?
Yep.
We're now
and bragging rights.
We're fire inspector.
I don't. That's the responsibility. I don't feel like I'm prepared to handle. Be the
You're
fire
going to
inspector.
get wet. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
We'll have to. We'll think. We'll think and see if we'll be able to.
And
And
Gardy's so.
get
Get
why you
a
doing-
team together.
I'm not scared. Let's
I'm
do
scared.
it.
Get a
So-
couple of the church member teams together.
I'm
While
literally
we're doing
scared.
that, you could probably cut a backdoor queso deal too with fajitas. So
See, Curt, priorities. What if being in the bucket brigade prevents you from cutting the queso deal? You didn't think about this.
Queso is more important.
What if it was like a queso brigade? Like queso's coming down, you fill Kurt's mouth with queso.
There's priorities in life. Queso comes first.
Who else is on y'all's team?
so it's going to be Chief Rubio, myself, Tom Munoz, the emergency manager for the city. We have James Hartshorn, and we have one more spot that we need to fill.
Okay.
Well, I think it's filled, but I don't know who
If I
it is.
if I can't get my team together, straight off the couch.
He is straight off the couch.
I am
to be
straight
fair.
off the couch. To be honest,
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Good times. Good times.
Mouthful of donuts. Straight off the couch, mouthful of donuts.
What a good band name.
It's bag full of donuts. That
No, but I want a mouthful of donuts.
Okay.
Straight off the couch, mouthful of donuts.
That's
Imagine,
like a song.
right.
We have high school teams, football teams that are getting together to come down and participate.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be good.
Are you going to be on a team?
No.
Why not?
She's on Team United Way.
I'm be taking pictures.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Fun stuff.
I still wear my shirt from last year, the red one. That's nice. Oh, it was a nice shirt.
Yeah, those are good workout shirts.
Oh yeah.
This year our shirts are purple.
Purple. Who
Yeah.
picks the color? Does it mean something? Or
This
is it just
year
a
is
design?
my granddaughters picked the color.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
We had a color and then they called, so we had to change the color.
Yeah, because there's an official firefighter games like T-shirt, and it's like really
Yeah.
like a sport fit. Those are pretty nice.
Yeah.
So, are there going to be any vendors or any other, people
We have
out there?
several sponsors. We have Marathon, Buc-ee's, Amico Federal Credit Union will probably set up a booth.
Yeah.
Valero
They always
Ener-
bring a face painter.
Okay, cool.
Valero Energy, Ashland joined us this year. HCA, Houston Healthcare, Texas New Mexico Power is a sponsor. Carnes Funeral Home, Hospitality Health ER, and the Galveston Daily News.
In Hospitality Health ER, they're bringing their ice cream trucks. So
Oh,
that'll be
nice.
lots of fun.
And you can't forget about
We
all
could
the
have
local
judging
business
for ice cream,
That's open on 6th Street as
Yeah.
well.
There's
So
businesses
they're gonna-
there, too,
They're
yeah.
going to be open for business.
yeah.
So
Downtown will be open. 6th Street.
6th Street Bar and
Bar
Grill,
and Grill Kitchen.
Manny's, Cuban
Manny's.
Cigars.
Hey, Mikey's, right?
Hey,
Ice cream.
Mikey's,
The tap room.
All the ice cream.
Awesome. You know, one of the things really fast because we're running out of time. I told you it would go fast. There's that place. What's it? It's right across the street from Hey Mikey's. It's empty right now, but I remember I saw a vision that
Oh, his vision again. Here we go.
that KHEA would have a studio in downtown Texas City, right in that building. We could have the windows that open up. Be really cool. It was just something that came to my mind. I'm like, man, that would
You're
make a
talking
really
about-
cool radio booth or radio studio where you pull the shades up and you have
Is
seats
it Ice
outside.
House?
The American Ice House.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for sale, right? So
Saint.
it'd be a cool place to put a radio station.
Kurt, this is downtown 6th Street. We're not ready for this. This is like the big time, dude. We got to keep working our way, and then we'll see what happens. But
Just be cool.
6th Street has some opportunity for local businesses. I think there
does.
are some spaces available, and it's really nice what the city has done. So we'll see as that continues to evolve, and I think it's great. It's great to see that again. Right now, it's 10:59. We're about out of time. Is there anything else I would like to share in 40 seconds?
Thanks for having us. This was so much fun.
Come on and join us. Fun for the whole
Yeah.
family.
All right, so Texas City
appreciate
Firefighter
it.
Games.
Appreciate our sponsors. Appreciate the
Yeah.
United Way. It wouldn't be as successful without the United Way and our sponsors.
And if you want to register for the Fun Run, Bucket Brigade, Horseshoe, Cook-Off, go to our Unite Way website, uwgcm.org.
All right, this has been Kickstart, KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM.
Coming up tomorrow, we're going to have Pierre in, and we're also going to be talking to Alan Hutchins of A&A Machine and Fabrication. Have a great day, everybody.
All right, bye, Facebook.
Bye, Facebook.